we're in danger of flunking most heinously tomorrow.
A force from the future.
Can we go anywhere we want at any time?
You can do anything you want.
Is putting history at their fingertips.
Let's reach out and touch someone.
They're traveling through time.
How's it going, Royal Ugly Dudes?
Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Excellent!
Execute them.
Bogus. How's it going, dudes?
And they're making a big impression.
Historical babes.
Now they're home.
Everybody get together, remember who your buddy is.
To trash the 20th century.
You got a live one here.
Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, Napoleon.
We're from history.
Billy the Kid.
Oh my God.
Joan of Arc. Sigmund Freud.
Tell me about your mother.
You a musician?
Beethoven.
Genghis Khan!
Abraham Lincoln.
Party on, dudes!
Socrates. George Carlin.
We're history.
If you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of? 69, dudes!
Bill and Ted's
Excellent! Excellent!
Excellent Adventure.
Party on, dude.
That is freaking awesome. Welcome into the program, The Bill Michaels Show. We are live out here in La Crosse at Flipside, and it is Bill and Grant's Excellent Adventure. Grant is literally off on assignment at the moment. He'll be here shortly. As you can tell if you're watching on the stream, the one thing that I ran out of the house yesterday and forgot was the lighting. And with the backdrop we have here, which is just the outside windows, we kind of look like silhouettes sitting here, dark silhouettes. So the lighting will be here soon. We had to send Grant over to Best Buy and grab some lighting. But other than that, he will join me in just a little bit. That was fantastic, Evo. That was good stuff.
Just kind of hit me. Well, you had mentioned Bill and Grant's Excellent Adventure, and I was like, let's Bill and Ted it, man. Let's go.
That was awesome. So you did not know Grant was on the road with me?
Well, last week, I think it was Friday maybe or Thursday, and Austin was in here, and we were talking, and Grant had mentioned something, I guess.
Yeah. We don't get back till Friday. So it might be one of those things that you might want to just put on a schedule,
Grant texted me and said Austin was going to be in here for the rest of the week.
Okay, because I send, I send out the whole detailed email of where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be, when I leave, when I get back, the whole thing. I'm kind of anal that way. And this kind of came up, and it just kind of came together. And so we're here at Flipside today. I'm here from 10 to 2. And then Grant's show, we're going to travel over to Loggers Stadium, over to the Lumberyard. And tonight, we're going to go catch a Loggers game, and Grant's going to do his show from Loggers Stadium. And then tomorrow, I'm in studio with our friends over here at WKTY, because tomorrow night we have our cigar dinner with our friends from Quick Spirits, and Grant is going to do his show here at Flipside. And then when I get done doing the show there, we then travel to Eau Claire. So we go visit the great city of Eau Claire. We're going to be there for the Junior Achievement Golf Outing at Wild Ridge Golf Course. And that is the site of the lightning strike of me some years back. And so we're going to be back there on the same patio at the same table doing our thing, provided the weather cooperates. And we're going to be out there tomorrow or on Thursday. And then we come back late Thursday night. We'll probably get back about 9:30, 10 o'clock or something like that. But I thought Grant would have said, hey, Bill's bringing the RV because we're traveling in the RV. So, Grant, I gave up my the room because they said, Bill, we got you a room at the Charmant. And the Charmant out here is a beautiful hotel. And so, and yeah, that's right. You stayed out here with us last year.
Yeah.
And so I said, Grant, you take the room. I stayed in the RV last night out in the parking lot because they give me a space in the parking lot to park the RV. So I'm in the RV. And then tomorrow night, I think we both have rooms in Eau Claire. I think the Junior Achievement people put us in rooms in Eau Claire. So we can leave the RV, obviously, down in the lot. But then we come back home. And then next week, we start again. Now, it'll be just me. It won't be Grant. But it's I'll be in Wausau on Tuesday. I'll be in Rice Lake on Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday night, I then drive to Road America. And Road America will be there on Friday doing a live broadcast. So this is our summer tour, man. This is
Grant,
all mine.
Grant said to me, I remember the conversation. It was, yeah, we're going to be on the road. All I need someone to do is turn up Bill's fader. Like, I'm like, easy, dude. Like, I'm here in the studio. I'll just turn it up and off we go. That was like the extent of the conversation.
Cool.
And that's all I thought. And then today he's like, thanks so much for running the board or doing all this. I'm like, wait, what?
Right. Wait, what? Jenna,
I have no problem doing it. I have no problem doing it. I didn't really have plans besides mowing the yard. But I was like, all right, well, let's go, baby. Let's go.
I kind of figured after hearing the Kate Fox voice
You heard
in the Gentlemen's Club promos that you might be off to the Gentlemen's Club to find out where the voice was, because I did hear that segment. I did not know Kate, our famed Kate, our innocent Kate, our sports guru Kate, was also the voice of a Gentlemen's Club. So I didn't know that.
It's news to me today, too, Bill. That's why I had to play it. Listen, that sounds amazing, though. I'll take a steak and some supporting local economy.
Yeah. The steak is well done. Yeah, I was listening to that. I was like, oh, man,
Yum.
Right? That was and I could just hear her almost blushing through the microphone.
She was bright red over the traffic report that I played. She was not red at all over the other one.
But you know what? That's starting out in radio. We all have done it. We've done voiceover work. We've all done traffic. I used to have to fly in a helicopter and do traffic. And
that's cool.
And the problem was the guy was a former Vietnam chopper pilot. And we flew around in one of those MASH bubbles. It wasn't a big helicopter. It wasn't like, you see today. We were literally flying in one of those Tinker Toy bubble front helicopters. And he had no problem doing face dives down towards the river and flying under bridges and scaring the hell out of me. I mean, just freaking me out. I cannot tell you how many times I threw up in that thing. He did it all the time. He just laughed.
Does anyone have a helicopter anymore? Is that even be in a budget from someone? That sounds expensive.
Many. There's a couple that do, like television stations, I think in the Milwaukee market that do, but not many, because most people use drones.
No,
most of them use drones now. So they don't even need helicopters. Helicopters are expensive. And then if I remember correctly, there was one in Milwaukee that actually crashed into some power lines, and I think it killed some people. Jeez. And the one that I used to fly in 2 years, I moved here in 99, in February of 99, and my first day was March 5th. And it was about maybe a year or two later, the helicopter I flew in crashed in the middle of the highway. They had to make an emergency landing and slammed it down in the middle of the highway. And everybody walked away and was okay. But yeah, they had to slam that thing down. I can't even imagine it anymore. It's like we go on vacation and Chris was like, do you want to take a helicopter ride and go see Maryland? No. I don't want to take a zip line. I don't trust anything that can hold my big ass up. No.
Isn't the helicopter, I think, the most dangerous way to travel? I think
there's probably per flight, there's probably more accidents via helicopter than there are, planes.
A traffic guy go up there. All right, go report the traffic. Up you go.
Right. But yeah, the guy that I flew with was a Vietnam helicopter. I mean, he was good. I mean, he could do anything in any weather. I mean, he was unbelievable, but he would do it and scare the hell out of me. He would just throw my stomach up into my throat and I'd get sick all the time. I mean, the day that cough switch broke in that thing was the day that I was no longer allowed on the air. I called him every name in the book as I was hurling my guts out into a big plastic bag. It was terrible. It was terrible, but he did it and he laughed his ass off all the time. All the time. He'd say, I'd come in, he'd always say, hey, what'd you do today? And I just mistakenly go, I just stopped off and got me a, breakfast bagel. And one eyebrow would go up. Ooh, that thing's coming up. And off we go, man. Off we go. Flying under the bridge and then doing it half. And you do it a kind of a half barrel roll coming out from underneath the bridge and fly up near Riverfront Stadium and back over. And we hover over Riverfront Stadium and then go down in it and back up. And the FAA is calling saying, what the hell are you doing? And oh my God, it was bananas. The guy was a nut, but he was a lot of fun. He's good, really good pilot. Right?
All to say you're delayed for 15 minutes.
Yes. All for the reason of just telling you that the Brent Spence Bridge was a big giant paperweight and just sit there and wait and just.
You're going to be delayed about 15 minutes here.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I do it like Kate. Oh, man. There's an accident there. There's a rear ender. Oh my God. It's right in front of the strip club. Oh God. So yeah, that was a little weird to hear coming out of Kate. That was strange, man.
She surprises you. She has different characters. I think she's got different personalities. That come out.
She's but I give her credit because she does the in-game stuff at down at Biloxi Baseball, and she does different radio stations. She does the traffic. She does this show. And she's very outgoing. She has no problem making friends, and that's as well as I do in this business. That is a quality that not many people have, and so the fact that she's out there and loves it, and enjoys every minute of it, it's fantastic. So good for her. Good for her.
I'll pass along the message. I think she's going to go watch her brother play some sectional golf now. So yeah,
sectional golf, not over the club playing sexual golf. Just got to make sure I heard that right.
SEC.
Marvin Gaye's playing in the background with a little sexual healing going on over there. It's like, what the hell, man? Where'd that go off the rails as a family really quick? That's like back when Radio Joe took a vacation, and his mom called me and said he's taking pictures of his feet. And I said, wait, what? His meat? And she said, no, his feet. And I thought, okay, there's just a whole weird thing going on with that whole family. And she used to call in, and she would call in and rail on her own son, which was hilarious. Just, oh, he's an idiot, and just like, oh, okay, he just needs to go get some. All right. So, okay. Well, there's that portion of the show.
All right. What do you want me to do about it?
Sponsored by Nature's Giving, I guess. I don't know. How do you start that show out? So there you go. That's awesome. That is awesome. So Grant will be here probably in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, where's Grant? What's he doing?
So I forgot the lighting, and I didn't have any, and I said, hey, I'm going to buy online just a couple of those, camera rings with lights, because I don't have any, and you can't see us. So anyway, long story short, I told Grant, I said, hey, can you run over there? I guess it's in Alaska or wherever Best Buy is. And I said, I'm just going to buy this, and if you just can go over there, they open the doors at 10, just run in. Here's the confirmation text. Grab it, and then just come on over, and then we'll set it up, and then maybe in the second or third segment we'll get some lighting going, and you'll be able to see us. And that way, because we do have obviously segments of this show to film for the television show on Saturdays, but otherwise we just look like silhouettes, kind of in the sun. Oop, did I lose you? You there?
No.
There we go.
Yeah. Bill, did you hear what I did? You,
no,
the listener
said. He started to say something, and that was the end of it. What'd you say?
Oh, he said it looks like it's the interview where the witness needs to keep their identity hidden.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You are 100% correct. Watching enough Datelines in my life, that is 100% accurate. Where they backlight you and you can't see the face, you just hear the name and the voice is like that.
You need the voice changer.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll put the whole show back on the rails when we get here. You got the Brewers, who've now won 8 in a row, and they gained a half game on the Cubs, only 5 games back now. You've got that going on. Got Packers back in the practice field. Grant will be here. I'm here. We are live at Artie's Flipside Pub and Grill. We're here in La Crosse, and I don't know what I had for breakfast today. One of the biggest pancakes I've ever had, but whatever that seafood mush was under eggs and hash browns, oh my God, that'll tighten your pants in many different ways. That stuff was absolutely fantastic. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more live out here in La Crosse, Wisconsin, coming back right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
And as Pella goes into another windup, it's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years.
Pella also provides a free in-home consultation, which includes a no-obligation quote.
That's always a great play because working with one of Pella's design experts is such a wonderful, no-pressure get-together. I know this from experience.
With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, you can get the look you want at a price you can afford.
And there's no reason to wait with this incredible deal going on.
Get no interest and no payment for up to 2 years.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. 6/30/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on this portion of it brought to you by our friends at J&L Tire and Service Center. J&L Tire and Service, they are right there on the Johnson Creek exit, 94, just north of 94, as a matter of fact. You can stop in, tell them we said hi, and whether you're an over-the-road driver, an 18-wheeler, or maybe you are just cruising around in the minivan, or maybe just the coupe, or whatever it happens to be, oil changes, tires, brakes, major engine work, they can do it all from 18-wheelers and down. They have facilities for both. So stop in, tell Lyle and his son, Chad, and everybody we said hi. And don't forget they've got a second location on Boulder Road in Watertown. That is J&L Tire and Service Center. And they say thank you for voting them the best tire dealer. Again, by the way, they're 35 years in business. I saw that yesterday when I passed over there, that their sign has a great big, kind of anniversary display. And 35 years they've been getting it done. 35 years over there, J&L Tire and Service Center. Really, really good people. Very philanthropic in the community as well. So there you have it. Brewers have won now 8 in a row. The biggest surprise about last night is that that Christian Yelich was in the lineup. He gets nailed on Sunday, and there's this level of concern that maybe he might not be right. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, he is, he's in the lineup, and I've always said, there's the lighting. There's the lighting. Grant is here. There's the lighting. Now you can see us. We're front lit as well. So if you're watching us over on the live stream, you can finally see us a little bit. But the fact that he always hits well, and I said this going into the series, he hits well at Great American Ballpark. He just does, always has. And last night was no exception. And the fact that he gets the go-ahead knock, and they ended up getting a win over Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, they get the couple of runs early. That's exactly what we talked about yesterday with Mo Egger when we had Mo on from 1530 ESPN Radio down there in the Queen City. That Mo's like, look, it's a feast or famine offense. They'll go scoreless for 30 innings, and then all of a sudden they'll unload for 17 runs. So what you're hoping is, if you're a Brewers fan, is that you catch them now where they go through one of these scoring droughts with 2 and 3 games where they just can't plate a lot, and then they break out of it eventually at some point against their next opponent. But the Brewers, another game coming up tonight down at Great American before they finally get a chance to come back home. But I'll say this, when Christian Yelich is on, he's on. And I know that, and we'll talk with coming up Jim Ozarski, bottom of the hour, because it seems to be the trade rumors regarding Giannis are beginning to subside a little bit. And I'll tell you why coming up here in the bottom. But when we were talking with Chuck Freeman, who we're going to talk to today, we talked with him last week, and Chuck's like, yeah, I think this is the beginning of the end of Yelich. We'll talk with Chuck. And I said, I don't know necessarily. Is he going to hit 35-plus home runs and 320 again? Probably not. But is he going to give you 25 home runs, maybe about 70 RBI, and hit close to 270? That's still a good possibility. And when he's on, he's as on and gets as locked in as anybody. The one thing you have to remember about Christian Yelich, and you have to kind of, now I think as Wisconsinites were kind of, and Brewers fans were lifted now into the emotion of expectation. The expectation is he's going to rake. It's going to be great. He's going to be fun to watch. And then he's going to get hurt, because that's the way it goes. He rakes, he starts to hit the hell out of the ball, and the next thing you know, he ends up getting hurt. So it was that's just kind of the way it goes for Christian Yelich. So you hope you can ride the wave for as long as you can until eventually something happens, because last year was the back surgery. Hi, Grant.
Good morning. Show's off to a good start.
It's off to a great start.
Good.
Ebo put together the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. We made our way out here last night, our first leg of the tour.
God bless Ebo.
So
I told him about your NyQuil adventure yesterday because he hadn't heard it on
Ebo,
Friday.
you didn't know about that? You didn't know about the NyQuil adventure?
What do you mean, Ebo?
Well, Grant had mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
It was very intriguing to me.
It was one of the weirdest dreams I'd ever had. I got fired. I think it was Randy and Tom came to me and fired me. I ended up getting an acting job on Law and Order SVU.
Did you audition? Do you remember that part?
I have no idea. Okay. I have no idea. I was like an extra to begin with, and then I became a weekly thing where I was playing some Italian thug mobster. And then the guy that played Elliot in the show ends up throwing me over the hood of a car. And I was thinking to myself, God, I hate this. I hate being on TV. Because I never liked TV to begin with, but I hated being on TV. I didn't want to do this, and I just wanted to get back into radio. It's just like, that's what I want to do. That's what I love. And then when I woke up, it was like, you could almost hear like angels going, hallelujah. Like I was like, oh my God, thank God. It was just a dream. It had to be a dream. And I'm like looking at my arm, I'm touching myself going, okay, yes, I'm back, baby. And I couldn't wait to get on the air.
And you thought, well, I'm glad I'm back because we need to go to lacrosse next week.
Right.
What you were thinking.
We had to come out here. Yeah.
You were top of mind. I got to gas up the RV.
Right.
We had some things to do.
Yeah.
I told Ebo about that yesterday. He missed your marvelous storytelling to begin last Friday's show.
Yeah,
so
that was
caught up.
That was it. So there you go. That was my.
So did you have like a come to Jesus moment when you woke up?
I did.
Were you a brand new man?
That was the day. It was the first really nice day that we'd had in a while in the morning. And I sat outside at the tiki bar and I just listened to the birds. The sun was coming up. There was dew on the grass. It had rained the night before. So everything was just like fresh. I sat outside. I'm not a big coffee drinker, so I don't really drink coffee. I'll drink like a mochaccino or something every now and then. I had that. I sat back and I just listened to nature for a while, and I'm just I knew summer's coming. I'm like, okay, I'm back. I feel good. I can go. I know I'm going upstairs to go in the air, and my life is normal again, and I'll never take it for granted. And it was. I couldn't wait to get upstairs, and then when I hit the button, and there you guys are, kind of reminiscing and chatting, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is great.
It's like it's the end.
This is great. You could have been talking about two flies having sex, and I still would have just thought this is the best radio ever.
We probably were. I think we were talking about parking lots on Friday.
Maybe that's what it was.
Defending the
Why
parking
wasn't he here on
lots.
Friday?
Or Thursday, whatever that
Thursday,
would have been.
yeah.
Thursday.
But yeah, so that was my come to Jesus moment. So there you go.
The end of the story was like the end of It's a Wonderful Life, except hugging your kids. You heard me and Ebo on the other end of the line.
Yeah, instead of coming out and yelling, Mary, I'm going to jail, thank God, that type of thing. I was like, oh, there's Ebo and Grant. And they're chatting about absolutely nothing. And it's wonderful.
They're talking about something really stupid.
It's really awesome. So, yeah, that was it. That was my dream. NyQuil induced after getting a little ill on the trip, on the Punta Cana trip.
NyQuil induced.
I'm not. I told Grant last night because Grant got the room at the Charmont and I was sleeping in the luxury of the RV. And I last night I said, you know what? No matter what happens, I don't care how much I cough or whatever comes out of my head. I'm not taking NyQuil.
You're not going back.
I'm not taking NyQuil because I could just end up walking around naked in the parking lot of the Charmont. People all said,
you
don't want to do that.
You're going to go fall in the river.
Yeah.
That's something that befalls many people. Not typically when they're on NyQuil, typically when they've had a bunch of alcohol.
Yeah.
But I could see the crossover. The best is
it could happen.
You could take all that NyQuil and then push yourself to stay awake.
Yeah.
And then you could have these visions when you're not asleep. Maybe something to try. Maybe when you're on vacation sometime. Maybe so it doesn't affect the show.
It could happen.
Just an idea. I mean, Yelich is hitting home runs again. Why not? I think it's possible.
Grant, I think the next time we do one of these trips, we got to take Ebo. Ebo, we got to get you out of Madison, man. We just got to make it Austin and Kate doing all the programming back there, and you got to come with us.
Well, Kate's busy.
I agree.
At the swim club now, I hear.
Yeah.
Austin was complaining to me that I never get to do anything. It's like, dude, you're 21 years old. You're an intern. What do you expect?
Do everything all the time. He's living down on State Street. Now,
right.
Yeah, he's partying. He's moonlighting as a sandwich artist at Jimmy John's. He's got all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's we got to do that. Give him a few hours, get him up early in the morning, we start out tiki barring it, and then we hit the RV, and then off we go.
Oh, great.
And we just start taking the show on tour.
Yeah, taking Austin on tour.
Yeah.
He'll be quite the attraction, especially with the ladies. he has massive
What I want to hear, now think of this, Ebo. I want to hear Kate doing the Gentleman's Club commercial and Austin chiming in the background. Like, and then the steak is well done. This is really good. That type of thing.
Oh, my God. I need to hear this Kate commercial.
Clubdarian.com.
Oh, God.
The grill. Ooh, the thrill.
Ah!
God bless America.
The grill. Yum. The grill.
Yum.
Ooh. Yum. 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 The grill. Ooh. The thrill.
Is this for Silk, Ebo? What is this for?
No, that's not for that. I wouldn't say anything to the business, but it's not for some.
That is awesome. That is now you got to get Austin in the background.
Yeah.
Go Cubs.
I think Austin probably has it saved on a hard drive somewhere. He listens to it constantly.
Yep.
Oh,
He's got his private copy.
The fact that you have that commercial and you use the word hard drive. We're going to take a break on that. Let's do this. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We'll talk a little Giannis, little box. Jim Ozarski's going to join us. Stay tuned. We are live out here at Flipside Pub and Grill. We're in La Crosse. We got more coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from enchanted spins, unreal treasures, and boundless bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. We are live. We are in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We are at Flipside Pub and Grill, which is where you can find us. If you are in the area and you want to come over and say hi and give us a shout, you can. We'd love it if you did. As a matter of fact, we've had some people that have come by to say hello, and it's always great to kind of put some faces and names and such together and get a chance to talk to everybody because that's why we're here, and we're going to be at the Loggers game, provided the rain holds off, and we'll be at the Loggers game later on tonight as well. A lot of the rumors floating around out there that were all hot and heavy about Giannis are starting to settle down. And to talk a little bit more about it, joining us on the hotline, our guy Jim Owczarski from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Jim, how you doing today, man?
I am lovely, Bill. It was a great week at the U.S. Women's Open at Erin Hills, but also shocking intro there that the local beat writer you had was like, there's really not much to worry about with this anyway.
Right.
The big fella. Yeah, it does. Look, we'll probably see some stuff pick up around the draft. It's just natural, Bill, with a broadcast that needs to now last over 2 days. But you're right. It nationally, it does seem like some folks are kind of walking back some of the hot and heavy interest.
One of the things that I'd heard, and I think I was listening on the NBA network the other day when I was out driving, was the fact that the likelihood of Giannis being traded is almost nil because of what the Bucks would get in return, and that would basically empty the war chest of any team that would want him. It's not like you're going to add him as a piece and then take off, and next thing you know, you're a champion. because the Bucks are going to want a lot of collateral in return if you do indeed get Giannis, which pretty much makes, for many of these teams hoping to get one player to get them over the hump, it makes it kind of unlikely. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, and this is something we spoke about, Bill, again, kind of out of the combine in mid-May, which was if there were, this is Giannis being traded out of Milwaukee is an A to Z proposition in terms of steps that need to happen. And Z being he's finally traded. So down around X is that exact point, Bill. He has 2 years left on his contract is one, and the Milwaukee Bucks and their ownership group really have no interest in putting out a product at Fiserv Forum, Bill, that's going to, win 20 games. I mean, we won't go through the whole litany again, but Jimmy Haslam, Wes Edens, John Horst are here to win basketball games. And you're right. Any deal, theoretical or whatever, the return is our players, are your best players, because the Milwaukee Bucks are not doing anyone any favors here. They are going to look at what's best for them. And you're right. It would be, okay, Giannis makes $54 million. What are your matching salaries? And typically, Bill, that means those are your all-stars or your best players coming back. Oh, and we're going to take all your draft picks too.
Yes.
And yes, suddenly, Bill, that doesn't look too great for the team trying to make that call. And no discredit to them. They should call 29 that's what GMs do. Every summer 29 teams should call John Horst and see, what is potential there. But you're right, Bill. For as much as there's an assumption that just because the player would potentially theoretically dream about a trade, it doesn't mean it's just, okay, there you go. Right. No. There are other factors involved, and I think the reality of this sort of talking point is far more stark for teams than just let's just throw some stuff out in the wind.
So at what point, Jim, do we hear real news regarding the Bucks? Do you think it's once you get to the draft and then people start jockeying for position and start talking about the possibility of trading draft choices, or when free agency is officially underway, or at what point do we start hearing about more real news regarding the Milwaukee Bucks?
Well, I'll take that meaning, some sort of Giannis decision. And what's interesting about that, Bill, is I don't know what the decision is. Right. He's under contract. So I don't think there's going to be some, I'm back type of post because he never left.
Right.
Well, maybe it's not like the Bucks are going to be like,
maybe it's not
make
even
some
about
flashy,
Giannis, though,
right? Like that's just not how he or the team operates. So in terms of Giannis, I don't think you're going to hear anything.
Maybe it's not about Giannis. I mean, maybe it's about just other guys on the team then. At what point do they start hearing about other pieces, I guess?
So that will be the draft, because teams, the framework of draft day trades are getting worked out now. Now that everyone knows where everyone's picking, options for players, the deadline for that, like Pat Connaughton's option is June 24th, which he will assuredly pick up. So when the Bucks get into the draft, they know that Pat Connaughton is coming back for $9 million. Some of the other guys, Kevin Porter Jr., Bobby Portis are after the draft, which is a little more typical. But you'll probably have a good idea. Like, they're not going to change their mind, 3 days later, right? Like you're probably going to know what they're going to do. Right. So I'd say the draft is one area, Bill, where you might hear some stuff, and then tampering. Well, legal tampering now that begins June 30th, right in earnest, and that runs through July. That's where you're going to hear no official deals. So sources and reports will say XYZ of moves happen. So yeah, it's going to really kick up right before the draft, during the draft, and then that whole week after.
Jim, I don't know why it bothers me, but it bothers me, the fact that the NBA was so quick to allow Tyrese Halliburton's father back into the arena after only a couple of games missed when he went out and confronted Giannis at the end of their series between the Pacers and the Bucks. I I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. Because if it was you or me, we would never see the inside of a basketball arena probably for the rest of our lives. So does it bother you that the NBA acquiesced so quickly and caved so mightily in this?
It is strange. I mean, it was a talk. We spoke right after the series, Bill, and it was the story for an entire news cycle instead of the Pacers beating the Bucks. And so, yeah, I do think it is weird to go from this ban for the postseason that's now this put them in the suite. I guess if you were the NBA, you should have just put them in the suite to begin with, or keep the punishment, right? I don't know. You're right. I don't know why. I guess I don't know if this is a deterrent for other family members. Because, yeah, you're right, Bill. The regular person, of course, they are never setting in foot inside an NBA arena again. So really what this precedent is are relatives or close family members, and John Halliburton is not the first. Stuff down has happened in Memphis quite often, right? And, like, we've seen, family members or entourages or friends, like, get involved where they shouldn't be. So, yeah, Bill, they should have done one or the other. Keep them out or just put them in the suite to begin with. Although I will say this, I'll give Tyrese Halliburton credit. He has sort of said, look, my dad's fine. He's sitting in a house. He's not in jail. Like this whole free John. He's like my dad's good. He's not like incarcerated. So I'll give Tyrese credit for that, for trying to at least say, wait a minute, guys, his return to a suite is maybe not what this should sound like, I guess.
The matchup that we now have, I know it's probably not what the NBA wanted when you talk about Oklahoma City and Indiana, but what odds do you give Indiana to beat Oklahoma City, who just looked so good, so fast, so up and down, and they play the same style of basketball, but I think they're just better at it.
Yeah, I agree, and you have a whole season and a whole playoff run, a sample size to prove that point that they are, the better team and by far the better team. So look, it is pro sports. There's always a chance, Bill. So it's not nothing. I think I saw something in terms of, of a betting line that this would be, arguably one of the greater betting upsets in NBA Finals history, at least going back to the 90s, for sure. I will give them a chance, though, Bill, because, look, man, I think the Milwaukee Bucks have overlooked Indiana Pacers the last 2 years. I think national media, I mean, they are a team that they're not afraid. And if they're down 2-0 and they lose by a total of 52 points in those two games, Bill, that doesn't mean they won't win Game 3 in Cambridge, right? Yeah. Like they're a team that I think they're uniquely equipped mentally to handle what's coming. And that includes probably a massive beatdown in one of these first two games. I mean, just by the math, the Thunder do that to teams. So I'm going to give them a chance. I think the gentleman's sweep is what I'm hearing quite a bit. So just to be maybe a little contrarian and give the Pacers some credit, I do think let's go 6 games. I think Indiana will get 2, and it'll be a good finals. It'll be exciting. They play good. Well, the Thunder play such great defense. The Pacers play such fun offense. I think it could be a really fun series.
OKC had the most 10-point wins. They won 61 games, but the most 10-point wins by 10 points or more in NBA history throughout this season. I still look at what Jordan's team did in winning 72, right, is the record, I think, 72 wins for the most wins in a regular season. It's still 11 wins away from what the Bulls did, but yet many are maybe prisoners of the moment, trying to crown this as the best regular season in NBA history. And I would disagree vehemently, considering the way the style of play was back when the Bulls did it, winning 72, the way the Bulls team was constructed, the physicality with which they played back then, the fact that they all played back then and they didn't work on load management and such. I still don't think anybody's ever going to duplicate that or surpass the 72 wins. I do believe this is a tremendous season, but I'm not going to go as far as to say this is the greatest season in NBA history, as many are.
Yeah, I would say even if they finish the job, and again, here, Bill, is the point of anything can happen. The 73-9 Golden State Warriors did not win the title, right?
73
and
Golden
they had
State.
to
You're right. I forgot about
injuries. But that's the point. You did forget about them because they didn't win,
right?
And because look, that you don't wish that scenario on the Thunder, but again, that's why they play sports, right?
Right.
But to your point, a prisoner of the moment, I think there is a little bit of that because, again, with all of the advanced metrics and analytics and the way people measure teams, point differential, as you said, the Thunder blow teams out. They that's what they do. They win by a lot very often. And they are a great combination in this era, Bill, of you mentioned load management. This is a try hard team. Like they try hard all the time. And that I know that sounds weird on its surface, but NBA fans know this, Bucks fans know this. These guys don't always try hard. It's January, it's February, it's March. Roll the ball out and play and not whatever. And then you got to eke out a comeback win. No, the Thunder try hard all the time and then they beat everybody, BTA, as the kids say. So, like, there's a credit to them for that, Bill, but I do think the point differential stuff to me, is a little flawed because, yeah, those great teams, which the 71 Bucks are in this conversation, by the way,
right?
For one of the greatest teams of all time, point differential included, when there was no three-point shot. And that's the point, is like these three-point shots, teams shoot themselves into big deficits, teams blow teams out because they made 23s and the other team made 4. So I agree with you. I'm not really into what the point differential stuff is because it's hard to cross eras in that way. I think it's unfair. But yeah, 72-10. Look, man, they went 68-14, which is great. It's an all-time great season. Not 70 wins. And so I'll leave it at that. I agree with you. There are certain metrics that exist, and 72 and a title is really hard to top when it's 68 and a title, in my opinion.
Right. No doubt. Hey, Jim, real quick before I let you go, give me your thoughts kind of wrapping up the weekend that was with the Women's U.S. Open out at Erin Hills.
Yeah, what a great event. Unfortunately, well, for those who may have been rooting for world number 1 Nelly Korda to get her first U.S. Women's Open, she made a run. She made it interesting. Yeah. Couldn't quite finish it out. Yeah, Maya Stark, really steady play to win on that golf course, Bill, and great event. I mean, the fan turnout, as always, Bill, in this state for a major was tremendous. It's just unfortunate that, and I wrote about this, jsonline.com, that this is it. This is the end of Wisconsin as a major championship hub. From 98 to 25, we had a really great run of 7 majors, a Ryder Cup, and now that's gone. Right. Those organizations, date changes, organizational changes, we're flyover again, and maybe we get one here or there over the next 30 years, Bill. But it was a great tournament. I think a great show out for the state in an event that it should be special as a national championship.
I know moving the PGA Championship from August to what was it, May? I know that hurts Wisconsin. Don't get me wrong, but also the aging and then ultimately the death of Herb Kohler, who was so tight with the PGA and with those conversations and had so much political pull and oomph. Does his loss then, I mean, that's going to be felt because you don't have that same handshake character, bigger than life, as Herb Kohler was trying to attract all of those entities into the state of Wisconsin, correct?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he was such a massive figure, larger than life in a lot of ways, right, Bill?
Right.
And to get and you know what? I will say this: it's on David Kohler that group would love to keep whistling straight in that conversation. But you're right. The move of the PGA to mid-May effectively takes the Midwest out.
Yes.
And I guess I can't understand why they did that, but it's so unfortunate. And look, the 2021 Ryder Cup just was phenomenal in so many ways. But the problem with would Whistling Straits love to have it? Sure. And would the PGA love to come back? Yes. But unfortunately, it's about money. And usually you have to have a couple more PGAs to run into a Ryder Cup. It's just how it's worked out. And you're right. Like he was a guy like, yeah. I mean, look, when you have in a business, yes, money talks, but personalities, as you said, the handshakes, the figures in golf matter just as much. And Herb Kohler was one of those guys.
Yeah.
And his loss is a loss for the state, as well as sort of all these other changes the USGA made and the PGA made.
Jim, always great to talk to you, my friend, and we'll gather more down the road as I'm sure the saga of the Bucks world will continue to turn, okay?
Oh, of course. Yeah, talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, pal, I should say. Bill Michaels Show, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and come back. That's Jim Ozarski of the Journal-Sentinel, who covers the Milwaukee Bucks and was out there covering the U.S. Women's Open as well, which was a tremendous event last weekend at Erin Hills, which was fantastic. Going to go ahead and take a quick break. We got more coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
And as Pella goes into another windup, it's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years.
Pella also provides a free in-home consultation, which includes a no-obligation quote.
That's always a great play because working with one of Pella's design experts is such a wonderful, no-pressure get-together. I know this from experience.
With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, you can get the look you want at a price you can afford.
And there's no reason to wait with this incredible deal going on.
Get no interest and no payment for up to 2 years.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 6/30/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
that fast. We got an hour down. We got 3 yet to go. We are broadcasting live. We are at Flipside Pub and Grill here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And we are, this portion of it brought to you by our friends at Viva, M-I-V-A, Viva, manufacturing hydrodynamic bearings for the power generation industry. And they are in Grafton, Wisconsin. They are looking for good CNC machinists right now. And if you are one of them, they are willing to pay top dollar for your services. Call them 262-337-2210, 262-337-2210, or you can just search them on Indeed. M as in Michael, M-I-B-A, Industrial Bearings in Grafton, Wisconsin. Like I said, we got 1 hour down, man. That fast. Boom, it was over. Just like that. And we got 3 more yet to go, broadcasting live here in La Crosse. And we are at Flipside Pub and Grill. Come on by and say hi. We would love to say hi and put a face to a name. Be fantastic. Fantastic. Grant Bills is here. I'm here. Evo's producing the program in the studio. Stay tuned. 3 more hours of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, that's now 8 straight in a row for the Milwaukee Brewers. Christian Yelich did his 4th home run in 6 games. That's after being named the NL Player of the Week earlier in the day. And Aaron Savali would pick up his first win of the season in his 3rd start as the righty went 5 1/3 innings, allowing 2 runs and striking out 5 as the Crew would beat the Reds in Cincinnati 3-2. There's more from manager Pat Murphy on Christian Yelich.
He crushed 2 balls tonight that, sore hand or not, he crushed 2 balls tonight. So he's living up to his Player of the Week, outstanding.
Yelich, who currently has a 9-game hit streak, is batting .450 during it, has gone 18 for 40 with 6 homers and 14 RBIs. The Crew currently sits 33-28 on the year, good for a 3rd in the NL Central. Freddie Peralta will take the mound tonight opposite of Hunter Green. First pitch against the Reds is at 6:10.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
The Packers are in week 2 of their OTAs. Practice will be open to the media today. Then they've got just a mandatory minicamp next week to close out their offseason program. And Wisconsin football, who saw 3 recruits commit to the Badgers over the weekend, got another one yesterday. That would be 3-star tight end Jack Severs out of Everett, Washington. Severs brings the Badgers to 10 commitments in that class. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome in. We are glad you are with us. Hour number 2, the Bill Michaels Show. We are live. We're at Flipside Pub and Grill. And we are glad that you are here today on this Tuesday edition. So good to have you along. And we are here today. Tonight we're supposed to be, weather permitting, knock on wood, that it does not pour down rain. But we'll be at the Loggers game this evening, taking on the Eau Claire Express a little bit later on tonight. And then tomorrow, still here in La Crosse, but tomorrow night going to be at Celebrations. And I had a couple of people ask me today if the event is sold out for tomorrow night. I believe it is. I couldn't swear to it. I have not checked, to be perfectly honest with you, but I believe it is. But if you go to the website, quickspirits.com, maybe you can still get a ticket, but I don't know. So you're going to have to find out. But I believe that event sold out relatively quick, if I'm not mistaken. There might be a ticket or two still available for next Tuesday, a week from tonight. We're going to be in Rothschild up there near Wausau, and we're going to be at the bar in Wausau for our second Quick Spirits dinner, our cigar dinner coming up next Tuesday night. And we'll be there for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's always a good time. It's always a great crowd that turns out and shows up for that one. So we're looking forward to that. But tomorrow night we'll be at Celebrations on the River here in La Crosse. And tonight, though, weather permitting, the La Crosse Loggers will be doing that. If you want to get a hold of us, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670, 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. If you want to text us, you can also find us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can subscribe absolutely free. You can find us on Twitter, on X, @Bill_Michaels, @Bill_Michaels, @Wisco Grant, WISCO, @Wisco Grant. You can find Ebo, who's producing the program back in Madison, @Ebo Says over there as well. You can find us on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app, all of those different apps. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. The Bill Michaels Show, THE, The Bill Michaels Show. And you can also track us down in many different facets on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts. You can email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website, simply thebillmichaels.com. And don't forget, Saturday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. And we are in Milwaukee, a TV show on My 24 TV. That is My 24 TV. How was the breakfast, man? Nope. Be good if I turned the mic on.
Well, I don't know where it went. It disappeared pretty quickly.
That is incredible. That's like some kind of crab thing with like a eggs Benedict Bernaise type of sauce. It was unbelievable.
The Krabby Dave, and then a quick pancake to wash it down,
which is as big as your face.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I was kind of hungry. I got a little something at Quick Trip bright and early this morning because I was up and moving. And I'm like, wow, but I want to get some breakfast at Flipside. And I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to put it down. I don't know why I was worried. No concern there. I don't know what happened to it all. It disappeared.
He said, "Hey, do you want breakfast?" And I said, "Yeah, I really don't eat a lot of breakfast, but I'll try a little bit of it."
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, it was gone.
You tried a lot of it.
I was laying back in a recliner, rubbing my belly, hoping for an episiotomy, that it would all come flying out of me. And because it was so good. I just kept eating. It was so good. Yeah. It was really, really good.
Flipside breakfast is great. You can get it 6 days a week now. They're open throughout the week for breakfast, too.
There you go. So come on by and say hi. And you're going to be here tomorrow for your show.
From 4 to 6.
4 to 6, yeah.
So happy hour in the evening. Maybe I'll have to imbibe just a little bit.
There you go.
Just a little.
Yeah, nothing like imbibing a little and then making your way over to the cigar dinner.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't.
Which will be really good tomorrow too. So that's dinner, and I'll let them know you're coming.
Yeah, you're going to want to make an extra big
because
plate
that's the exclusive. I think it's if I'm not mistaken, I think it's sold out. I think tomorrow night is sold out. I think there's still a few tickets remaining for the one in Wausau that's upcoming a week from today, but I think tomorrow night is sold out. So
it's a pretty exclusive event.
The game, we were driving out here last night in the RV, and you're paying attention on your phone watching the Brewers game. And the fact that the Brewers have now won 8 straight, we go back to the game in which it was the 10-inning walk-off from Yelich, who hits the grand slam that kind of launched all of this. And then last night, I think the biggest surprise, you and I are driving, and you went, whoa, Yelich is in.
Yeah, right.
And I think we were all surprised after the news had come out on Sunday that he was pretty sore, and we'll see, it's day to day. But I kept thinking to myself, he loves Cincinnati.
He's not going to miss those opportunities.
Facing the Reds, and especially down there at Great American, I thought, my God, if he can play, he's going to try to play in these games because he just eats up Reds hitting Reds pitching down there, and the fact that the ball just launches down there.
Well, and I was concerned too because they said after the game, well, the X-rays looked okay, not really any concern. But Murphy always says that. He'll say like, yeah, Nestor Cortez, no long-term concern, and then he's put on the 60-day IL 2 days later.
Right.
It's like, well, what was that for? So I was surprised that he was back in the lineup too, even though the X-rays were negative. But I think he might be onto something, and that he just didn't want to miss a chance to keep it going and to stay hot. Yeah, but
to
also
play in Cincinnati.
To hit in Cincinnati, yeah.
If he could just hit in Cincinnati. Do you know, I was reading this. On this road trip, Christian Yelich is hitting .533. He's 8 for 15, 3 homers and 6 RBIs.
Yeah.
Just on this road trip.
NL Player of the Week.
Yep, and that was just announced, by the way. It just came across just a couple of minutes ago where he has been announced as the Player of the Week. So, but 58 games he's been in, 57 starts, by the way. He's on a 9-game hit streak, batting .450, 18 of 40, 6 home runs, 14 RBIs right now. He's got a .500 on-base percentage, .925 slugging percentage, and a .1425 OPS during this 9-game hit streak. When he's on, there's nobody in the business better than he is. I mean, we can talk about Ohtani and Judge and the power that they have and what we just witnessed between the Yankees and the Dodgers over the weekend. But when he's on, he can hit it anywhere in the strike zone to any area of the ballpark.
Well, and even in his leaner years, the last few seasons, typically when he'd have home runs, and they were fewer and farther between, they'd be opposite field home runs.
Right.
And it would kind of look like his little fadeaway swing, and he would and opposite field home runs are great, but when you see the highest high-level power hitters in the league, they pull the ball when they have an opportunity to smoke it. And I think that's weirdly with Yelich, when he's on, you see him pulling more home runs. Typically, guys, when they're really on, you're like, well, and they're doing it to the opposite field. With Yelich, I feel like it's the inverse. So the other night, I think it was his second home run against the Phillies when he pulled it to right field and it landed in the second deck. To me, that's the kind of thing you see when, okay, Yelich is on right now. He's not just spoiling opposite field home runs, but he's pulling them too.
He had, over the last couple of seasons, he's had 2 stints on the IL. He missed 81 games, including 61 of those last season. Underwent the surgery, the whole thing. They were both with back issues.
Mm-hmm.
I just said to lead into the program today that when he gets on, we watch it, and we watch Yelich, and we ride the wave. And then because as a Wisconsinite, you're kind of set up to fail, that at some point, it's all going to come crashing down because he's going to be injured.
He's going to tweak his back.
The back is going to be a problem. Now he's had the surgery to repair that.
Hopefully.
So
yeah.
Do we now begin to dare? Actually, do I venture out into the thin ice of dare to dream with Yelich?
Just that he could be healthy for the full
that
season?
He can remain healthy. Again, we're all knocking on wood. We're saying novenas. We got rosaries in our back pockets, the whole thing.
I burned sage in the RV this morning before
that
you woke
too.
up.
Well, that was because of a stink factor. But beyond that, we know that.
That too.
So, do we now begin to say, okay, he's recovered from the back surgery. He's now, it's June, because we all know he heats up in June. Now we ride this wave of June, July, August. Do we look at this and go, okay, Yelich is back, and because of the surgery, it's corrected the back problems. He finally feels really good. Because I was listening to an interview with him the other day that he said, the back is great. I feel healthy. Mm-hmm. And he says, I'm starting to feel a little bit more locked in. It takes him a while, yada, yada, all the things we've heard before about it takes me a little while to get out of the chute and get underway and blah, blah, blah. Do we now begin to dare to dream that Christian Yelich is back?
I mean, if we can get the version of last year's Yelich, if we could just get that. I don't need 18 or 19, but last year was his third best season, I think, in a Brewers uniform. And I don't think it was particularly close. So you're not going to get 40 home runs probably like an 18 and 19. But when he's elevating the ball this year, let me give you a stat. And I think I shared this with you last night. He has hit 24 fly balls this season, which is the fewest among all qualified hitters. 13 of those have left the ballpark. So it's this really bizarre batter profile where he's grounding the ball out a ton, but on the rare instance that he elevates the ball, there's like a coin flip chance that it's leaving the park, which is wild. So I think, I don't know, I don't want to say that he's put a larger emphasis on hitting the ball out of the ballpark, but if he did, it would be smart because they just lost Willie Adames. It's not like this lineup is full of power hitters.
Well, we talked about that going into the season, like where are you going to make up the power?
Exactly.
And what we thought was, you won't make it up with one guy, but if you can make it up with Churio, if you can make it up with Hoskins, if you can make it up with Yelich,
little here, little there,
if you can make it up with Contreras, those 4 guys, and by the way, you're throwing a few from Sal Frelick or Gary Mitchell or whatever, and everybody just kind of elevates a little. Maybe you don't need one guy. Now, what you do need that they have not had consistently on this team up until the Yelich grand slam in the 10th inning that's kind of set this whole ball in motion, you have not had clutch.
Yeah.
Because you've missed the Adames clutch. That's where they miss Adames the most, where he was that, I hate to use the term igniter because that was always Paul Molitor's thing, but he was kind of that igniter guy.
I think so, yeah.
He was that guy that gave you something when there wasn't something, when you needed a little bit of hope on the horizon.
Well, and last year, I mean, his timing was just excellent. Even if Adames wasn't hitting home runs in the 8th or the 9th in a close ball game, you know how many 3-run home runs he had last year? You know what I mean? Like I don't remember if he was setting some sort of record, but he just had a knack last
everything
season.
Was a 3-run shot.
Anytime there were runners on, that's when he was really, really putting his best swing to the ball. And what did we see over the weekend? Rhys Hoskins 3-run homer or Yelich 2 or 3-run homer. The Brewers didn't hit a lot of homers throughout the first month or 2 of the season, but even when they did, it was a lot of solo shots.
Right.
Like the timing wasn't really there. And part of that is luck, but part of that is, big players feeling the moment and doing what needs to be done with runners on. And I think they've found a little bit of that. And it's no surprise that it's coming from Yelich because he's been there, done that before. He's been that guy.
We are live out here at Flipside Pub and Grill. We're in La Crosse, Wisconsin. We're here today at the Loggers game tonight. Grant is back here tomorrow afternoon. I'll be over at Celebrations tomorrow night. for the Quick Spirits Cigar Dinner. If you want tickets, if there are any available, go to quickspirits.com. That's quickspirits.com. You heard our conversation with Jim Ozarski.
Yeah.
I've gone from maybe there's a 3% chance to Giannis being traded to there's a 0% chance.
You've gone down. Well, that's the thing. I sent you that headline from The Athletic this morning where, and I remember who it was, wrote like, yeah, some other teams are starting to question the availability of Giannis. And I said, ooh, we can do that. Like maybe the momentum is slowing down. And I loved what Jim said. It's like, well, for someone like me or people who've been plugged in with this team, this is where we've been since day one. You know what I mean? He's under contract and we don't expect him to storm his way out of town or to ask for a trade. So it's funny that Jim's like, yeah, I've been saying that, but I'm the Bucks guy. I'm just Homer, so no one listens
The
to
only
me.
two people that have been consistently saying Giannis is not going to be traded is Jim Ozarski and Brian Windhorst of ESPN. He said, look, Giannis is not asking for a trade. Giannis wants to remain in Milwaukee. The Bucks, if they would even consider trading Giannis, it would basically be for an absolute ransom, of which then at that point in time, Giannis is not going to a team that is going to give him a legitimate chance to win because they're going to empty that closet to get Giannis and to get the whale. And, oh, by the way, they're going to take your draft choices as well, so you're not even going to be able to restock. So what's the point of making the trade for the guy when all you're doing is getting Giannis and you're basically becoming the Bucks?
And if Giannis was a free agent and he had to leave the Bucks and he had to make that decision, then that's one thing. But he doesn't have to do anything. He's under contract. He can just continue to be a Buck and live in Milwaukee, which is a city and a team that he really likes. I've also noticed over the last week or two, you notice how the team du jour with Giannis changes every couple of days. Like at first it was the Rockets, then it was the Spurs, and here we are 2 or 3 weeks later, and now it's the Raptors. It's like, this is starting to feel like it's just a manufactured thing for sports talk.
It was the Raptors. I mean, you're talking about legitimate teams that would want to make that move.
Yeah.
But then the Knicks get eliminated. The Knicks need that guy to take them over the top.
They're going to trade Karl Anthony Towns for him.
They're going to trade everybody away. And, suddenly it'd be Towns and Brunson and everybody here in Milwaukee and Giannis in Madison Square Garden by himself. But, oh, by the way, the marketing dollars will be there. Yeah. Then it was going to be, well, could he make a last run with the gang out of Golden State? And, well, could that happen? And we all know that every time anybody even farts, the word LeBron comes out. Next thing you know, he's got to end up with everybody out there in L.A. And that trifecta would be great. And it's like he's not going anywhere. I am firmly believing I would be, and I don't say it often, you know this, I would be shocked if Giannis ended up anywhere else other than the Milwaukee Bucks in the Fiserv Forum this year.
I think I'd be very surprised. Yeah.
I would be shocked.
It's not to say
it's not going to happen.
It couldn't still happen. I think there's a slight chance, but I definitely wouldn't bet on that.
It's not even a portion of me as a fan saying I want him here. This is me saying logistically, I don't think another team out there has all the capital, the compensation to match compensation, and they're going to give up all their draft choices to get the whale that is Giannis.
And maybe the teams where you can squint and see that happening, like the Spurs and the Rockets, lots of picks, lots of young players. But then he's going to the West, and the West is going to be a lot harder to win. There's more good teams in the West. So it's just very difficult to trade a player like that, especially one who, the Bucks don't want to trade him. If they're backed into a corner to deal him, they're going to try to put the other team completely over a barrel with good reasons. So, and I also, lastly, I think Giannis understands that winning isn't guaranteed anywhere. You know what I mean? I think with certain superstars who have demanded their way out or they've wanted to join up with their friends at a different location, I think some of those players have almost made their decisions as if like, all right, we're going to go here and it's going to be easy. And because it's, Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo, for example, with the Thunder, well, we have the most talent, we're going to win. And I think the last couple of years have shown that that's not actually the best way to build a team.
I don't even know if Giannis wants to win that way.
And that's another thing. Like if winning isn't certain in Milwaukee and it's also not certain at team A, B, or C, I think Giannis is okay. Well, then I'll keep trying in Milwaukee,
right?
Because I have as good a chance as any here, or a chance that's as close to anywhere else here. I'm from here. My family's here. I don't know.
He's relatively old school. Remember, there was an interview with him a couple of years ago when all this talk came about when he was signing a contract extension, and he said something about winning the old school way, where you don't go and create super teams. You win through the attrition that is, whether it's making some trades and draft choices and building it within and trying to piece together rather than just finding 3 superstars to go sit on a team and make it happen. And I remember that interview, and that very much stuck out to me. He's an old school guy, and he's vested in the community. I mean, Flatsmack over on the live stream had a good point. Don't forget, he's also part owner of the Brewers. He invested money in the Brewers. He wants to be a part of this community.
Well, and how many former NBA players on TV, and there have been a couple, Dwight Howard's one, I can't remember the other one, have come out and done pieces on television where it's like, Giannis, don't leave. You think it sounds sexy to go here or to go do this. And I think there are plenty of NBA players in the past, and Dwight Howard in Orlando is a good example because that's, I guess technically a smaller market. They think after a certain time because of people that are in their years or they're listening to media, I got to go and I got to go chase this or I got to go find this somewhere. And I think there are a lot of players who did that in their career and then ended up looking back and what was I trying to do? I had it so good at this spot.
Right.
Or it started to go sideways when I demanded to go here and then I left to go here. I don't know. I think there are probably plenty of NBA players who felt they needed to leave. And then after everything is said and done, look back and said, I had a pretty good deal. Like, why was I listening to this person or what was I chasing by going here?
The one guy you need to look at and say it's really never worked out. It worked out once on the super team, and that was Kevin Durant.
Yep, good
Kevin
example.
Durant has gone all over the place. Him and James Harden. James Harden's another one where he's moved around. He's come in as the hired gun, and they were going to put all these pieces around him, and everything was just going to work. And then you put all the egos in a room, and there's only one basketball, and it just doesn't work out. James Harden's never won, as far as I remember, a championship, and you've only got one for KD. And that was really when he was on Golden State. And Golden State, that was just that was an incredible team even without him. They didn't really need him to win.
You just don't see opportunities for teams that good to acquire players that good. That's
Right.
just such an outlier. But Kevin Durant's a great example. Kevin Durant probably looks back and, who knows? He doesn't seem like a guy who dwells on past decisions. He seems kind of easygoing, but he went to Brooklyn thinking it would work, and now he's in Phoenix. Well, how could that not work? They have Bradley Beal and all these other guys, and it hasn't worked out. And then you look back and you're like, well, why did I go here and team up with this person and do only to be bounced earlier in the playoffs than ever before? Kevin Durant hasn't been past the second round of the playoffs since 2019.
Right.
It's 2025. He's probably one of the best players of
The
the
last
era.
time he was in the postseason deep was when he put his toe on the line and hit the bucket against the Bucks. That should have been he thought was a 3, but really was a 2, and the Bucks going to win that game.
And when you say deep, that was the second round.
Right.
You know what I mean? That wasn't even
That's the last time.
And it was a great series, and that Nets team was really good. And if they were healthy, they might have won. Who knows? But that was the second round of the playoffs. Kevin Durant is probably behind LeBron and Steph, and that's about it in this era. And he hasn't been to a conference finals since before the pandemic. It's wild.
Going to go ahead and take a quick break. Bottom of the hour, we got Chuck Freeman going to join us. We're going to talk about this red-hot Brewers team, and we'll ask Chuck if he believes that Yelich is back, because he had pointed out that Yelich, creeping over the other age of 30, he might be past his prime. So we'll get his thoughts if he's starting to turn his head around a little bit and face to what Yelich has got going on. And by the way, Mizorowski, one of the minor league pitchers of the month for the Brewers organization as well. They just announced that too, making the announcement that Yelich was the player of the week. And in addition to that, Mizorowski, the pitcher of the month down in the minor league system. DJ's Goalpost brings you this portion of the program on Appleton Avenue in Menominee Falls, whether it's the great pizza or just the sports memorabilia. It's like watching it in a Hall of Fame museum. When it comes to memorabilia, that's our friends over there at DJ's Goalpost. DJ's Goalpost, Appleton Avenue in Menominee Falls. Big pizzas, great burgers, great staff, and oh my goodness, do they have a whole boatload of just sports memorabilia items. You can yourself, if you're a sports fan, or maybe even bring the kids and go count bobbleheads, which would take them like 4 days to be able to do so. It's amazing. Stop in at DJ's Goalpost, Appleton Avenue, Menominee Falls. Chuck Freeman coming up bottom of the hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
And as Pella goes into another windup, it's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years.
Pella also provides a free in-home consultation, which includes a no-obligation quote.
That's always a great play because working with one of Pella's design experts is such a wonderful, no-pressure get-together. I know this from experience.
With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, you can get the look you want at a price you can afford.
And there's no reason to wait with this incredible deal going on.
Get no interest and no payment for up to 2 years.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 6/30/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Disguise our name. Welcome back to the program, the Bill Michaels Show. We are live. We're in Woodside Pub and Grill. We are in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And we are hoping that there isn't any rain tonight. There's some rain that's in the forecast. It does not look good, put it that way, for the Lager game coming up this evening. So hopefully they're able to get it in, and we get a chance to head over there and enjoy over there at the Lumberyard the game coming up tonight. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at German Fest, to the big house party on the eastern coast of the state of Wisconsin, July 25th, 26th, and 27th, the Henry Meyer Festival Ground. For all the information, for all the fun, frivolity, the bands, all the different specials, the admittance specials as well, go to GermanFest.com. That is GermanFest.com. Oompa your ass off. I don't think that's their official slogan, but that's
Could
what
be.
I throw out there.
I think it would work just fine.
I throw that out there. There you go.
Your ass off.
There you go. You ever been to German Fest down there in the lakefront?
No, I've been to Irish Fest. I've never been to German Fest.
German Fest is probably, out of all the festivals, Irish Fest is good. German Fest is one of the only ones that's big enough to use almost the entire fest grounds.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it's good size. It's that one's probably that's my favorite out
German
of all
Fest.
of them. Yeah.
I like the Oompa music. I like
Yeah.
the polka music too.
The polka, they do have the original polka. They have a Polish fest down there, which is good too. They have that. They have Irish Fest. They had just had Festa Italiana, which kind of kicked off the festival season down there, which is back. I think for a little short period of time, they took it to the Italian Community Center, but it's too big for that. So they went back over to the festival grounds.
Would you call it Festa what?
Festa Italiana.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Festa Italiana, and the Greek Fest is over at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. And that's a big one. That's a big festival. A lot of baklava and gyros going on over there. But German Fest, out of all of that, German Fest, I don't know why. It's just kind of one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, if it's anything like Oktoberfest, I get it. I understand why.
It's good. It's a big one down there. We used to do, way back in the day, we did our shows live from German Fest and from Summerfest down there. That's the one thing we got to do, is get back down on the grounds of Summerfest and do our show down
I'm
there.
going in, I think, 2 weeks from Saturday.
You're going, but
yeah,
we're not doing the show
I
there.
haven't been in a couple of years. I'm excited to get down
We've
there.
got to get the RV on the grounds down there and then do the show.
I think you need
there.
that, yes.
And then we put the awnings out. We sit under the awnings and do the show. And that way, if it does rain or becomes inclement, we can always move the show inside.
Just
and
go
we still
inside.
have electric.
You can sleep down there. You don't have to leave.
We
You
can
just-
hang down there,
you
yeah.
just post up for the whole weekend, Thursday through Sunday. I like that.
Big time. We can do that. So there you go. Let's do this. We are broadcasting live here in La Crosse. We are on our summer tour is kicking off here. Is our first day here today, here tomorrow, and then over in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, coming up on Thursday. But when we come back, we're going to talk with our buddy Chuck Freeman from the Lockdown. I'm going to be interested to talk to Chuck because of just strictly the Yelich thing. He has said a couple of times on the program that he just thinks that, Yelich is on the wrong side of 30. We're watching the decline. He was struggling at the plate. He didn't look as if he could lock in on a pitch anymore, kind of flailing. And all of a sudden on this road trip, he has set the world on fire. Now, in Chuck's defense, I will say that 1 week or 2 weeks does not a season make because you can get hot. But when Yelich is hot, he's as hot as anybody right now. And as I had mentioned some of the statistics a little bit earlier, he has been on fire during the 9-game hit streak, hitting .450 with 6 home runs and 14 RBIs. But on this road trip, he is hitting .533, 8 for 15, 3 dingers, and 6 RBI just on this road trip. And you still got 2 games to go. 2 games in Cincinnati, where he traditionally hits very well. So we'll talk with Chuck Freeman about that when we come back. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show broadcasting live out here in La Crosse. And this portion of it brought to you by our friends at Levine Iceburner. Personal injury attorney, estate planning, civil litigation, whatever it happens to be, say a contract dispute or an accident or a living will or a trust, they are the ones you call. They are the ones that answer the phone. They are the ones that actually go to court for you. That's who you build the relationship with. Levine Iceburner. Brent Iceburner, really good guy. Worked with him for a long time on the Fisher House board. He's a veteran. Very much attention to detail. Very, very good guy. Levine Iceburner. Call him out there. Anywhere in the state of Wisconsin, by the way. 608-621-2888. 608-621-2888. Levine Iceburner. Our buddy Chuck Freeman from the Locked On Brewers podcast. He is next on the Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Big River Rally coming to La Crosse, Wisconsin, June 27th and 28th. Don't miss the excitement on the main stage Friday night. It's Texas Hippie Coalition. And Saturday night, Drowning Pool. Tickets are on sale now. Want more? Follow Big River Rally on social or go to BigRiverRally.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Cousin Subs, you're looking for something for lunch today. You're out and about tonight. You gotta watch your Brewers play. Thinking of Cousin Subs kind of night. They believe in better. The big supporters of the motorcycle ride coming up on Sunday, August 31st, to the 18th annual Big Unipoca Run, which has raised over $500,000 throughout the years to help our veterans, military members, our friends over there in support of Fisher House, Wisconsin. We can't wait to do it again this year. It's going to start down at the Milwaukee Harley-Davidson Museum. And then from there, we're going to end up through the countryside and end up out at suburban Harley-Davidson in Thiensville. But it's all brought to you by our friends over there at Cousin Subs, where they believe in better. They believe in veterans. They believe in military members and their families. They believe in first responders, and they believe in you. Believe in better. That's our friends over there at Cousin Subs. All right, I've been waiting for a while because I've watched what's gone on in regards to Christian Yelich. We bring in now our guy, Chuck Freeman from the Locked On Brewers podcast, who joins us. And Chuck, I know on your podcast at one point you talked about the other side of 30 when it comes to the age in baseball. And Christian Yelich, he looked like he was flailing a little bit, wasn't seeing the ball real well, obviously wasn't putting the ball in play, striking out quite a bit. And all of a sudden in the last week, he has been on fire, specifically during the 9-game hit streak. Is he back, or is this just an apparition, or should we just wait for the oncoming injury? Because that seems to be what happens. He starts to really tear it up, and then the next thing you know, he's down with an injury.
Well, he did get hit with a pitch on Sunday in the hand, and it was like I was thinking the same thing, Bill. I was like, "Oh, here we go." Right. He was right back in the lineup on Monday. And if you're any type of competitor, you whatever kind of injury you'll have, you try to fight through it. And I'm not saying he doesn't, but I mean he's on a roll right now. I didn't think he had this kind of run in him. We'll see if he's able to, if it's just a run, Bill, or if it's something he can sustain a little bit. Once in a while these guys get hot and all that, but I maintained last week. I thought that Christian, he is. There's no doubt he's, maybe on the 15th or 16th hole of an 18-hole career. But I don't know if this is going to be sustainable or not. I mean, is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to? I mean, he's been carrying the team. He's been one of the reasons why they've been on this 8-game win streak. National League Player of the Week. I did not see that. A week ago, Bill, he was hitting after a Monday night game. Last Monday, he was hitting. He went 0 for 5.
and he was hitting 184, and I was like, where is this headed?
Right.
You know, where is that? There were some serious questions. But, man, I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but since I did that podcast on him, he's been turning it around.
Yeah, and make no mistake about it, when you look at his numbers and you say, well, he's hitting 233 with 13 homers, 40 RBI, yada, yada. 233 is the number that jumps out. But considering, like you said, it was at 189 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's a remarkable 50-point swing, damn near. And that's a lot of, on base, so to speak, to get it back to 233. Now, I don't think, and I agree with you, I don't think he's going to give you 40 home runs and hit 327 again. Those days, I think, are far in the rearview mirror. But if he can get it up to 25, 27, approach 30 home runs, give you about 80 RBI, and then in addition to that, put the average around 275, that would be a fantastic season for Christian Yelich, considering the way he started out.
Yeah, he raises, even like this much into the season, 2 months into the season, to raise your batting average 50 points. That's a heck of a week he had. He batted 500.
Right.
He batted 500 for this bad week. So that's, he's not, there's no way he's going to keep that up. But still, he needed a substantial run to get that batting average up to where it is right now, to climb 50 points. But, yeah, I agree with you, Bill. If he could hit 20, 25 home runs, if he's going to be a heart-of-the-order guy, and they're counting on him to be that way, well, he's got to be able to produce. 184 in the middle of that lineup if the Brewers, Bill, do not go on this 8-game winning streak. If they do not go on this 8-game winning streak, I did the math last night, they would be approximately 10, 11 games behind the Cubs, and probably 6 or 7 behind the wild card. It was almost a must that they had to go on some kind of run like this.
We've been expecting this, or at least hoping for this, for quite some time, and I agree with you, because I said, look, if they end up falling 8, 9, 10 games back, the season's over. They're sellers. So now they're sitting 5 games back. And this is the other thing. With this streak, they won 8 in a row, and they've gained a game and a half. And that's how tough it is when you find yourself in a hole early on to dig your way back out of this. They have to play almost 750 ball from here through the middle of July to be able to climb back even close to catching the Cubs. Now, I know right now all you can concentrate on is what it is you do, but the Cubs are playing some winning baseball as well. You can't deny that. But what do you like? What I like about this team, Chuck, is the fact that Yelich 10th inning grand slam ignited this team, something we had not seen. We know that, Pat Murphy had talked about looking for a misplaced energy. It seems like they've found that now, correct?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. And, Murph would talk about a week ago Sunday, they came back in the late innings and beat Pittsburgh in that finale on Sunday, on Memorial Day weekend. And since then, there's been a little bit of vibe. You could tell. I was, obviously I wasn't in Philadelphia or not in Cincinnati, but I was at that series when they beat Boston and Yelich hit the home run. You could tell they're starting to get a little bit different vibe in this team. They got down 2-0 last night, Bill, and they didn't cash in the chips. They rallied right in the second inning, and they sat on that 3-2 lead, which is classic Brewers, sitting on an early 3-2 lead, but still they won the game, and that's the key. Their pitching has just been phenomenal. I think that often gets overlooked, Bill. Their bullpen is taxed, but pitching great, and their starting pitching, even though they're not going deep in games, they're still getting, 5. These guys are going out in 5 innings and not getting shelled. Last night, Savali pitches in the 6th inning after giving up those 2 runs in the 1st inning, and I thought looked pretty good, and he's looked good in the start. So, got to keep this thing going. You look at they're playing the Reds right now, and 9. We're talking about a team being 9, 10 games out. They're 9 games out. The Reds might be thinking about being sellers if they can't get. They're not playing horrible ball, but the fact is, both the Brewers and Cubs the Brewers and Reds are chasing a team that's 15, 16 games over the 500 mark right now.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned was the pitching, specifically in the back end of the bullpen. They are 27-3 leading after 7, and they are 30-1 when they are leading after 8. Mm-hmm. They've only given up 1 lead in the 9th inning all season long. And that, when you talk about the pitching, the starting pitching has been good, but the back end of that bullpen has been fantastic.
Yeah, and the one game they lost in the 9th inning was when they were in Arizona. I believe that was late April, and they had a 4-0 lead going into the 9th and lost it. It was just incredible the way everything just fell apart in that game. But yeah, the bullpen has been locking game, and you need that. I mean, you need to have that. Guys locking it down. You know, the Brewers go from one closer to another, and they seem to just do a great job. I think that gets overlooked too. With closers, they went from Hader to Williams, and now the year McGill is having. McGill is building up a nice year for himself again.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this, because Freddie Peralta goes tonight. Tomorrow is a TBA. Who do you think throws tomorrow?
Oh God, it could be anything. They could bullpen that game. They could end up, bullpenning that game and working their way through it. I don't think it's going to be Brandon Woodruff. Woody could start next week, either Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they're going to have an opener tomorrow. You know, one of those bullpen guys come in and open up the game, and then work from there. I think that's they could be doing something like that tomorrow. Brewers like to do that. They like to keep us. Their starting pitcher sometimes in a mystery. I think sometimes they don't know because of the health of the team.
Right. Hey, I got to ask you. I saw that Mizorowski now he's your player of the week, minor league pitcher. How long is it before he's knocking at the door? How long is it before we see him in the bigs?
Well, the problem is though, we're going to put him. You can't put him. You got so many guys in the rotation. You have to make room for Woodruff coming up here.
Right.
Because you've invested some money in Woodruff. So if Woodruff comes back, who gets sent down? You might be, there's talk that Chad Patrick, who's pitched fantastic, could get sent down. So, I mean, it's weird to say this, but a team that's not in first place and 5 games out, can't find a place in their starting rotation for a guy who throws 104.
Right.
Can you believe that?
Right, I know. But I'll tell you this.
This is a numbers game.
You'd love to see him on one of those bullpen days. You'd see him come in and eat up 4 innings and be able to just say, hey, go out there and keep the velocity over 104 because for what he did, posting that 2-2 record, but his 2.83 ERA with 35 strikeouts and 6 starts and pinpoint accuracy, he's getting so much better. You'd love to see him come in and eat up one of those days when you can just say, hey, give us 4 innings. Go out there and just throw gas for 4 innings. And move the ball all over the place and see if you can't do that with the plethora of pitching they have. I would love to see Mizorowski make it into the bigs by, say, July.
Yeah, the one thing is, he's got to be able to have control, and not only control in terms of balls and strikes, but location. You can't be leaving 104 over the plate.
Right.
To some of these guys.
True.
They just you got to have some location. So. There's a reason why he's not up here yet, and there's other guys in front of him right now. He's going to get his turn, but the main thing I'm concerned about when it comes to winning is the offense on this team. Brewers have plenty of pitching right now. They have, in fact, you hate to say this, but they have too much pitching, which is a good problem to have.
Right.
The problem is, can guys like Yelich and some of these other guys on the left side of the infield, Caleb Durbin starting to come around. Ortiz is hitting a little bit better. Can those guys pick it up? Because you could have all the pitching in the world, but you still got to score some runs to win.
Well, that was going to be my next question. So, I'm still thinking left side of the infield. What do you think they need? I'm thinking left side of the infield bad, but what do you think this team needs?
Well, it seems like Durbin is coming around. Ortiz is defensively is terrific, but he's hitting below 200 still. You would like to get something for that left side, but I feel like there's a commitment there to Durbin. They've said, Caleb, you're going to be our everyday third baseman, and as long as he's showing some signs, maybe they don't go out and get themselves a rental player. I feel like the Brewers are very leery about that. They probably could use another arm out of the bullpen if their pen continues to get taxed, but in left field right now, you look at because Garrett Mitchell is injured, Churios had to move to center, and the Brewers are riding it out with Bowers and Isaac Collins out in left field, a critical position in left field.
Right.
They're going platoon guys out there.
So, let me ask you this, because you figure at some point you're going to get Garrett Mitchell, and you would assume you're going to get Blake Perkins back, which are 2 just unbelievable defenders that can play every day if you need to. So you're going to get those guys back. So my dark horse in all of this, what if you found yourself a second baseman with Pop and you could still move Bryce Terang over to short and then have a second baseman with Pop, then you'd still have Bryce Terang, then Durbin over at third with a backup infielder or utility infielder being Ortiz, or Ortiz going back to third.
Could be, but I think they like Durbin ahead of Ortiz, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think they like Durbin's potential. I think Ortiz might be falling down a little bit, and I think they're just trying to see, well, is Joey going to be an everyday player or a utility guy?
Right.
I think that's what the deal. But I think there's a strong commitment with Durbin. That's my feeling anyway. Yeah. But you're right. Who knows? Teams have been known to do that. The Brewers appeared to be safe at third base back in 2018 with Travis Shaw, and they went out and got Mike Moustakas.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So you just never know. The Brewers in 2011 looked to have Josh Hader, and then what did they do after the All-Star break? They went out and got K-Rod, who was one of the best closers in baseball. Right. You had two of those guys now. They didn't have Hader in 2011. I'm thinking of what's it? Who am I thinking of? Exford. John Exford in 2011. Yeah.
The Axeman.
He had Axford closing out games. He went on K-Rod. So sometimes teams will make a strength even stronger. And, just picking up players to help you make your team better and, find where this guy fits, and we'll figure that out later.
Chucker, where do they find you, man?
Oh, man, I know you can find me on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the audio platforms, the #1 Brewers podcast on the internet. Go to, right there. You can just download wherever you want, get your podcast. We're right there. And, of course, our growing YouTube page. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers. It's all free. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. And we got content there after every game, late night, talking Brewers baseball with the great fans of great Brewer fans out there.
Good stuff. Buddy, we'll talk to you again next week, and hopefully we're still talking about a win streak that has been extended beyond the 13-game win streak. So it'd be great if it happened.
Could be. We'd be talking hamburgers a week from now, Bill.
Yes, we would. Damn straight we would. That's where we'd be talking. You and I would be doing a podcast at George Webb's. Hell yeah, I'll take it. Free. If it's free, it's for me, baby. If it's free, it's for me. Chucker, be good, buddy. We'll talk to you.
All right, Bill.
There you go. Chuck Freeman joining us from the Locked On Brewers podcast for a couple of minutes. Great to get his perspective. And he's like, hey, I didn't think he had this run in him. I love it when we get out there and we kind of go out on a limb and we say something, and then somebody goes and says, hey, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I'm not saying that that's what Christian Yelich has done, but we were all beginning to look at Christian going, I kept saying wait till June. And it started about 5 days before June when he really started to go on this tear. But this is the time of year that he begins to heat up. Now, what you have to hope for is that, knock on wood, the injury does not befall him. So we are here in the city that is basically wrapped around Quick Trip, which is fantastic. It's a city within itself. Our friends over here at Quick Trip in the La Crosse campus, great to see, great to be a part of. We stopped at Quick Trip on the way last night over there in the Dells, the great big new Quick Trip service station, if you want to call it that, the great big truck stop, which was awesome. Filled up the RV last night, picked up some groceries last night. And as we continue to travel the state of Wisconsin, we can't do it without our great friends over there at Quick Trip. God love Quick Trip, whether it's the clean bathrooms or, as the truck drivers found out last night, the clean showers and the great and friendly staff and the towels and everything that they provide. Or if you're just running up there to get some bread, milk, eggs, butter, or maybe some of the best gas you can throw in your tank, whatever it happens to be, thank God we got our good friends at Quick Trip right here in our own backyard, because we know what first-class operations are all about, and that is our friends at Quick Trip. More of the Bill Michaels Show live here in La Crosse coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program. We are live. We're in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Flipside Public Road, which is fantastic. Got to say thanks to our buddy. It is now known as Mississippi Dave, right, Grant? Mississippi Dave? Mississippi Drew. I'm sorry, Drew. I wrote it down with a D, and I was looking at Dave for whatever reason. Mississippi Drew, who was listening to the program. He stopped over. What are these? Are these drink coupons? We're going to get hammered. How many drop off? What, 5 of these things? 5? Man, Mississippi Drew listening to the program. He has not called this show, but he's called Yours and Ebo's show. And has not called the program yet. But Mississippi Drew, you the man. Great to meet you, too, by the way. Thanks for coming over and saying hi. But he bought us a bunch of drink tickets. I can get to-go cups, maybe, and have them in the... I can't drive the RV after drinking. So that's one of the stipulations. So, but I'd be happy to put these things in my pocket. And you know what I would really like to do? I'll give them all to Grant and watch him get hammered. And then when we're cruising around, it's like cruising around in a lazy boy recliner. Watch him pass out, and I'm going to draw funny things on his face with a Sharpie marker. He can't raise him off, and then kind of go from there. But nevertheless, thanks to Mississippi Drew for coming by and saying hi. And then, and we'll talk about this coming up in the next hour with Grant, but they've got the state track meets out here this weekend as well. We'll get into that a little bit. Loggers game coming up tonight. Supposed to be over there, and hopefully they have a game against the Eau Claire Express this evening. But it is looking like a lot of rain right now. But if you get tickets, maybe you can come out and still join us, and we'll still be over there. When the show ends here, I'm going to head over there. And I'm going to hopefully do a rain dance and keep the rain away. Coming up in the next hour, one of the newest Green Bay Packers speaks, and we're going to listen to that. We'll get some reaction from up in Green Bay and talk a little bit more about the NFL. But the Brewers are streaking right now, man. 8 in a row. They have climbed to within 5 games of the Chicago Cubs. They are firmly entrenched in 3rd place. Cincinnati continues to stub their toe. The Cardinals, they're hanging tough. They're hanging tough. But the Brewers, who cares about the Cardinals? You got the Cubs in your sights, right in the crosshairs. Hopefully the Brewers get another one. We got 2 hours down. We're at halftime. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. Don't go anywhere. More of the Bill Michaels Show. We are live. We are here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Stay tuned. We got more coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are in Cincinnati. It's where they're going to continue their series tonight against the Reds. Milwaukee's won 8 in a row after taking the series opener last night, 3-2. The winning streak has featured all kinds of games for the club. They won when scoring 17 runs and won when they scored just 3 a couple times. There have been blowouts and multiple extra inning games. Christian Yelich says that's just how winning streaks are.
And if you want to be a good team, that's what you got to do. You can't win the same way every night. It takes contributions from everybody. You know, it's been good starting pitching, good bullpen, and doing well as an offense, playing good defense. So anytime you want to try to stack some wins, you got to do everything well. You know, you can't lack in one facet of the game. So it's been fun to see. It's cool to see like us come together as a team and play good fundamental baseball and how the game's supposed to be played.
Yelich was named the NL Player of the Week yesterday and delivered another home run in that win, despite being forced to leave the night before with a hand injury. Tonight, Freddie Peralta going to get the ball for the Crew. Comes in 5-3 with a 2.77 ERA. Allowed 3 runs over 5 innings in his last start. The Reds counter with Hunter Green. He's 4-3 with a 2.63 ERA. He lost his last 2 starts despite giving up 4 runs total. First pitch is set for 6:10.
ABC of Wisconsin is the largest apprenticeship program in the state, with more than 2,000 active apprentices in 12 different skilled trades. In the ABC apprenticeship program, you earn while you learn on the job, get paid to go to class, and graduate with a job in your craft, but without the huge college debt. Explore 12 different construction trades in one spot at buildyourcareerwi.org, or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the Packers back in the field today as OTAs continue. They'll close out the offseason next week with a 3-day mini camp. And Wisconsin continues to add to their 2026 recruiting class, getting a commitment from 3-star tight end Jack Severs out of Washington. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome back in. Just beyond halftime, and we are now in hour number 3 of the Bill Michaels Show. We are live here at Flipside Pub and Grill in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Grant Pills alongside. Evo's producing the program. If you want to get a hold of us, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You can text the program, 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. Give us a shout, and you can track us down in that particular facet. You can also listen to us after the fact on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts. You can email the program if you want your voice to be heard. Simply thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website, thebillmichaels.com. But if you want to subscribe to us for free, because we wouldn't charge you for this stuff, let's be honest. That's why we have sponsors. And I can't believe they pay for it, but they do. And if you want to come on board for free, go to youtube.com. That is youtube.com/Bill Michaels, Michaels, Bill Michaels Show, /Bill Michaels Show, and subscribe absolutely free. John in La Crosse says, working up on the trails, but hoping for rain so I can sneak down, join you guys, eat a little bit of lunch. I'll be the dirty guy smelling like the Hickson Forest. The Hickson Forest.
Up on top of the bluff.
And by the way, we heard from our guy, Mississippi Drew, who gave us a thumbs up. He texted us.
Yeah, we got some actual chippage here, drink chips in front of us. This is a problem.
This is where when Austin or Kate would be producing the program, Ebo would be with us. He'd be over at the bar using the chips and telling us how the drinks were. And then we would then join him in between this show and your show. And that would be the excellent adventure.
And then I'd fall asleep at the table starting at 4 o'clock when I'm supposed to be on the air.
That'd be fantastic. And then at some point, we'd have to find that gentleman's club that Kate was talking about, doing her voiceover work. Hi. You know, she's talking about the steak being well done.
Meat on the grill.
Meat on the grill, yeah. So,
Lord.
And then
I have it all planned out. I have everything mapped out, ready to go. So next time, I have an itinerary, Google Maps, everything. We're good.
That's our guy, Ebo. By the way, let's put Ebo on the camera. There he is. There's Ebo.
Oh, hey.
There he is. Now
you look handsome, Ebo.
So yeah, I was, and for those that are just tuning us in, for those that know, Kate does the program occasionally when she's either filling in for you or she's producing. And she is the voice of a gentleman's club. I did not know. I was stunned to hear that this morning. I'm listening to Ebo's show as we're connecting and we're getting ready to do the broadcast here today. And I hear Kate in the studio and I hear her doing a traffic report. And I'm like, okay. You can tell she's a little new, a little stiff, but she's getting it and she's getting there. And then all of a sudden they said, no, but she's the voice of this. And then I hear the Gentleman's Club and it's a whole different voice.
Well,
it's that Kate voice going, and then we've got the steak and it's well done. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. And that was so Kate's got a career in many different things.
She's going to surpass both of us very, very quickly.
The grill. Ooh. Yum. The grill. Ooh. The thrill.
Oh God, that is Kate. Oh my God. I'll never look at her the same.
No, I can't.
She was like this little daughter that, could play a little golf. She was an athlete,
it's
college graduate. Yay.
It's
and now
like
she's
yum.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The Seinfeld episode where they can't figure out who left the message on the recorder.
Right.
And they spend the whole episode trying to figure it out before realizing it's Elaine.
It's
and they're
Elaine,
like,
yeah.
Oh,
that's
no.
it. Yeah. She should I want to hear her read a children's book in that voice.
Yum. The grill. Ooh. The thrill.
The cat in the hat. Red eggs and ham.
Blue fish. 2 fish. 3 fish.
There you go, Evo.
Yeah. That's oh my God.
Nobody can tell Kate we're doing this.
Oh,
I already did.
She's listening. She's got to be listening.
Oh, actually.
She called me. When I first did it, I'm like, hey, you're never going to guess what happened on Bill's show. And she called.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God.
It was, I can right now.
She liked it, though. She loved it.
I'm sure she did. Because I'm sure, like, did she, like, she goes home. She's very close with her family. And her brothers and her dad and everybody, and they have that family outing where they all play golf together and everything,
So
and her dad's probably like, I'm proud of you. You've graduated. You've got that communications degree, and we saw the pictures of her in the cap and gown, the whole thing. And then he's like, what do you got going on today? And she goes, well, I got traffic, and I'm going to be filling in. I'm going to do some stuff on Bill's show, and and I love my sports knowledge, Dad, and playing volleyball and basketball in college, and it's really paying off. And I love going to the country shows and taking Mom backstage. And boy, it's been great. What else did you do today? I'm the voice of a gentleman's club, Dad. Like
the grill. Ooh, the thrill.
This is the best or the worst thing that's happened in a long time.
Oh my God!
I asked if her parents listened. She said no, so we're okay. We're okay.
Oh, what we do is we call her dad, and don't even we just play it. We just play it.
Oh no!
And then say, from Kate with love, Happy Father's Day.
The grill.
All he has to do is listen to 94.1 JJO to hear it.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Am I to believe, first of all, there's a gentleman's club that also serves steak, or is this?
Dude, we have to go. Oh, we have to go.
Back when, and I'm going to tell you this story, but there was a friend of mine who used to be part owner of one.
A gentleman's club.
A gentleman's club.
Okay.
And it was in Milwaukee, and he would call me on Badger game days on Saturdays, and they had, and still do to this day, the best quesadilla I've ever had in my life.
Really?
And I'd go over and sit upstairs in the VIP because they had TVs everywhere, and I really didn't care about going over and checking out the girls. But I'd go with him, and we'd have a couple of beers and eat quesadillas and watch the game, and then I'd leave. When it started to get crowded and people started to pile in, the best quesadillas.
Oh
it was fantastic. A lot like the clubs in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
they offer steak and lobsters.
Oh, dude, I've had a full Thanksgiving spread before.
Yeah.
No,
I would
you
love.
Use these terms at times, Ebo, when you talk about a full Thanksgiving spread at a gentleman's club in the same breath, where it just brings up a whole different. I consider the pilgrims sitting around a table, not with a stripper pole on it.
Yeah,
Sigmund Freud could have made his whole career off of me. Okay, I think we all need to go to this club. I will buy the steaks, and I'll get the drinks, and we'll sit front row and eating our New York strips while we support the local economy. I will do the first round.
Thanksgiving spread, strip. He's just working it all in, man. This is why he's the wordsmith of the morning show.
I'm trying to figure out.
We can put a dollar bill on our foreheads while we eat steak. It'll be no hands. Hands for the steak.
Do they give you a little bib to hang around your neck?
I think she comes around and helps you out with that.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Full service.
When you do that lobster, you gotta watch where the butter goes. Otherwise, it ends up being like a ditty party.
Ends up on your lap.
Yeah, you don't want to walk home with a bunch of butter on you and say you ended up at a ditty party. So,
oh boy,
I swear to God, sweetheart, I was having lobster. The next thing you know, boom, ditty party. That's what happened.
Got a little slippery.
Orville Redenbacher. That's how he died. Wearing a bib and had butter all over. That's how he died. He was at a strip club. Yeah, he was at a strip club and he ended up with butter on him. The next thing you know, boom.
Oh, Orville did love to frequent those places, I bet.
He wasn't popping his kernel with that place. I'll tell you that right
Classic
now.
Orville.
No, baby, nah. I don't care. That's how Orville Redenbacher died. Look it up. I think it's on Wikipedia.
I'll get on that.
And I know it because I wrote it. That's how he died. That's how Earl Redenbacher died.
I see.
Yeah.
Extra butter.
Yeah. They found him with just a G-string around his nose and forehead, and that was about the extent of it. A lot of butter on him. So
Orville Redenbacher.
I think he killed Evo.
Lived to be 93. Son of a bean.
Yeah.
I did my math wrong. 88.
Yeah,
Still
look at the
old
head on
as
that
hell.
guy. Now imagine those glasses, and he couldn't get the G-string off his head. They got snagged on his glasses and his nose, and he died with butter on his face.
Foggy glasses.
That's how I want to go.
Yeah.
Very foggy glasses.
Right? There you go. I don't care who you are.
Lord.
That's the way to go.
All right, so steaks and Sniffers Row. Here we go.
There we go. How we looking? Yeah. I'm bringing the latex gloves. How did this show just went off the rails?
Where do we go from there?
I think every time I chime in, this kind of happens. Maybe I'll just turn my mic up.
It's fantastic. It's a good thing. Without a doubt.
It's a good thing.
Well, let me ask you, Ebo. The fact that the Brewers
Medium rare steak.
Okay, there you go. No butter, please. Just on my potatoes.
Lots of pink.
Right?
Oh.
So the 8-game win streak of the Brewers, Yelich on an absolute tear. What is your expectation now? I mean, there's always hope. What is your reality? And then if I had to say, what is your reality in the next 3 weeks? What is it?
To be disappointed by the end of 3 weeks. As a Brewers fan, you have to let the waves crash over you of feeling good,
right?
Because as Brewers fans, we know our lot in life. Kind of, there's not a lot of talent on this team, but it's nice to see the talent that we do have stepping up. So right now, in this summer of fun, almost summer of fun that Marco Donazio provides, I say you enjoy it while it lasts, because in 2 weeks ago we were saying sell the team. Are just as bad as the Rockies,
right?
And now we're talking about World Series incoming. So enjoy it, and then in 3 weeks we'll reevaluate, and maybe this could be a galvanizing point for the Milwaukee Brewers. That you bring them together, and who knows what happens. But I'd say short term. It's like going to a strip club, Bill. You're there. It's short term. You're there for a good time, but for a short time. You're not going to go home with any of them.
Right.
You're not going to go home with the World Series. But
there's a
maybe.
reality to that.
But sometimes people do find love along the way. Will it happen? Maybe.
Yes.
Probably not. But yeah,
I
enjoy
get
the
it.
short term.
I
the
get it.
short term serotonin.
You bring up something, though, interesting that you said a couple of weeks ago. They were talking about Mark Attanasio selling the team. Does the Brewers winning? I don't want to change that narrative, and I don't want Mark to sell the team, but I would love to see Mark open the purse strings to the tune of about $20 million more.
Is Mark Donazio not a good owner, though? It's always top 15 or more from attendance. You're there. They're in the golden age right now. You're in the playoffs, or you're relevant enough to be in the playoffs. There's always, you're thinking, I mean, could he be better of opening up the purse strings? Sure. Is that reality? Probably not. But is he not a good owner? Like, aren't we entertained? Aren't we entertained? Aren't we having fun?
That's a great question, because I don't want to be entertained. I want to win.
He's not a billionaire. He's a millionaire
Right.
in a billionaires club.
Right.
And what he's doing is he's that hard-working lass that maybe isn't the most attractive, but she's out there getting money.
Coming back to that.
That's a great question. Let's say they go to an NLCS.
Wow.
Let's dare to dream for a minute.
All right. Does
that make Mark a good owner? Because what you said, Ebo, about, well, they still always put, more than 2 million people through the turnstiles and this and that. I think that's twofold. One is, I think second tier in the state of Wisconsin behind the Green Bay Packers is the Milwaukee Brewers. It is a great fan base. I think that's first and foremost. Secondly, I think the Dome, that is American Family Field, will bring in fans from the area. It'll bring in fans from Chicago. It'll bring in fans from Minnesota, from St. Louis, from Cincinnati, from Pittsburgh, from Kansas City, whoever happens to come through these doors in that regional area. So they're going to come to see their teams play. The Brewers have been competitive, which is due mainly to really good a system that has been put in place by Doug Melvin, then handed down to David Stearns, and David Stearns accentuated it to where Matt Arnold has now taken it and run with it. But does that make the owner a good owner?
I don't think
considering he's cut from 130 plus million down to
It's a good
100 million, over 30 million has been reduced from the payroll in the last 4 years.
So if this is as much as he can spend, I think the Brewers have done as well as can be done with the resources they've been allowed to use. Does that make sense? Like I would like for him to spend another 10 or 20 million every year, And I'm sure most fans of just about every
But
club could say
I'd like
that.
to see it go back to 135
Sure.
million.
Okay.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this. In the playoffs, was it Mark Atanazio's fault that Devin Williams
No.
blew up?
No.
Was it Mark Atanazio's fault that Josh Hader blew up? At the end, was it his there, you could go back to saying the offense and some of them not spending enough money to get a bat in, before that. But there was you could look at specific moments and be like, well, Devin Williams blew it. Josh Hader's and Clark, whatever the hell his name is.
Could you look
Trent
at the year,
Grisham
though, that
blew
they
it.
were leading the division? They traded away Hader because they didn't want to pay after the fact, and they didn't want to lose him for nothing. And they blew up the locker room. They blew up the clubhouse, in which they admitted they got rid of him because of money, and it ended up ruining that season. And in addition to that, then the owner stood up and said, well, we were in the Juan Soto deal. No, you weren't. He said money wasn't an object. Yes, it was. And then he threw David Stearns under the bus, and subsequently the next year, David Stearns left.
So I could retort and say, look at Devin Williams. The Yankees have buyer's remorse. They took him off a closer role. He stinks. Then Corbin Burns, he has a dead arm now. His arm's it's over, and the Brewers pitching is not a problem. You're getting the pitching lab is something that Mark Atanasio invested in is looking good.
He was one of the first owners to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you can look at moments. Too.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation.
That's what I'm saying. He's not a bad owner.
I think he's a good owner.
I don't dislike Mark Atanasio. I think there are times where money. I've always said if your product is based on your budget and not your budget based on your product, you're screwed in any business. When it comes down to money versus your product, because if you've got a great quality product, people find it will pay a premium to see your product or get your product or whatever. If you've got the best product out there, if you make the best widgets, they're going to pay for the. Otherwise, why are we buying Gucci and Versace and okay, so people will pay for that because it's the high end deal. So my question is, could he spend more, create a better product, and therefore get more people through the turnstiles to make more money, sell more merchandise? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think Brewers fans elect not to go to games because the ownership isn't spending. I think they elect not to go to games when they feel like the team isn't any good. Right? Like, I don't think the Brewers will ever be a 95-win club where Brewers fans will say, well, I'm not going because they didn't invest. Why should I? Like, if the results are there, and for the most part they have been, people are going to go.
Right.
And they're going to buy in. And by the way, on Mark, like, I would rather he spends a little extra every year the way they did in 2019. We're going to get Yasmani Grandal for 1 year, or Mike Moustakas for 1 year. We're going to get Rhys Hoskins for 2 years or 1 year in a club option. I'm fine with them not extending Adames or Burns. I think that's good business. Let some other team overpay for the back half of someone's career. But 1 or 2 year deals as stopgap season to season to fill third base or shortstop in a season like this, that's where I think the spending is lacking. And that's not that much money. You're not asking Mark to lock up his money for 6 or 7 years. It's $15 million for one season.
Right.
And that's what disappoints me because I feel like he has the means sometimes to do that and they elect not to.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the small market. You don't need to spend money just to spend money. But what I've always argued is when it comes to the small market, and this takes Mark Atanasio out of the mix because it's just the market size itself, is the fact that in Major League Baseball, when the Juan Soto deal comes up, when the Bryce Harper deal came up, when the Aaron Judge deal comes up, when the Shohei Ohtani deal comes up, the Brewers aren't in those talks.
No,
they can never be. There's there's 4 teams, 5 teams that could possibly be in those discussions, and the rest of Major League Baseball cannot be. That's where I have the issue with the small market mentality.
Yep.
But with Mark Atanasio, when you've seen the payroll reduced almost 30 million over the last 4 years, that's when I look at it and go, okay, wait a minute. You're putting more and more people. You're having more and more success. Why are you not pushing to go for it rather than retracting backwards?
Well, I think this season, that's what Nightingale and Rosenthal and a bunch of other guys were writing about in the spring.
Right.
I think this year presented an example. It's like, okay, so you keep making it to the playoffs. Your team is close. Why don't you ramp it up a little bit more? So
right.
I don't think you're the only one thinking that way.
And that's when he stepped in it by saying, I'm only here to provide a summer's worth of entertainment.
Well, and that's the
blah,
thing.
blah, blah. And that
he'd probably be thought of more highly if he was just a little bit more media savvy.
Right.
He'll just get in front of a microphone and riff, which as an owner, you can't always do.
No, that didn't work out. Great stuff, though. This portion of the program here in La Crosse brought to you by our friends at Dream Vacations. They are the ones that planned and pretty much executed our trip to Punta Cana for 10 people. They can do it. They did it for me. They can do it for you. And we had a great trip and a great resort and a great excursion and such that they put together for us. It was fantastic. And if you want that from Michael and Melissa over there at Dream Vacations, whether it's a resort or you want to take a cruise, you want to go international, You want to follow the Brewers, you want to follow the Packers, whatever it happens to be, let Michael and Melissa help you out, plan and book your next amazing getaway. Call them direct anywhere in the state of Wisconsin, 414-208-4221, 414-208-4221. Again, 414-208-4221. That is our friends over there at Dream Vacations. Dream Vacations, give them a shout. Going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go northward. We'll put our eyes over to Green Bay, and namely their newest guard. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show live in La Crosse.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels here. Your two wheels wrapped up because here it comes. The Big River Rally where the river meets the road. It rolls into La Crosse on June 27th and 28th. Join us for a weekend packed with action. Stunt shows, a killer bike show, food trucks, all kinds of awesome vendors. Friday, Rod's River Run with Texas Hippie Coalition lighting up the stage that night. Then Saturday, it's the Big River Rally Ride. Miles and miles of pure freedom. Then Saturday night, Drowning Pool rocks the house. Grab your tickets right now. BigRiverRally.com. That's BigRiverRally.com, and I'll see you there.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
At least here on the western portion of the state of Wisconsin, here in La Crosse, Wisconsin, we are at Flipside Pub and Grill, where the rain has now begun to fall outside. Hopefully, it ends so we can get the game in tonight. The Loggers and the Eau Claire Express, they get underway this evening over at the Lumberyard. Hopefully. But it is drizzling outside now, which means if you want to swing the sticks, you might take it inside. That is Birdie Boy's indoor golf facility there on Pilot Court in Waukesha, just south of the Waukesha County Airport, in the business district back there. They have 6 different simulators, a full bar. They've got a kitchen. And not to mention Brandon, the owner over there, him and his family, they're great people over there. So if you get a chance, 6 different simulators, you can play just about any good course in the world, including the majors that are right here in our own backyard, whether it's Erin Hills or Whistling Straits or Black Wolf Run, or you can play Century World. You can play all those different courses. It's fantastic. That is Birdie Boys Indoor Golf Facility. Go to Birdie Boys, BOYZ, indoorgolf.com. That is Birdie Boys, indoorgolf.com. Aaron Banks, the newest guard, the left guard for the Green Bay Packers up at the minicamp, spoke to the media. Take a listen to what he had to say.
How y'all doing? Good. All right.
Aaron, I know it's the first time we had a chance to talk to you here. Just what did you think of the opportunity in Green Bay? What sort of attracted you to the Packers, and now obviously being here?
I was really excited when I heard that Green Bay was interested. They're a very competitive and young team. They've been in the playoffs the last few years, and they like to run the ball, and they have a really good quarterback. So, overall, I was really excited to be here.
What do you bring? Who are you, and how do you fit for the Packers?
I think I bring physicality. I think I bring leadership and experience. Being that I've played a number of playoff games, I played a lot of football, and in a similar scheme. So I think just this, kind of a veteran presence, but also still young. I'm just ready to play ball.
How important is that? Like the structure of the organization? You played a big time college program, high level. Certainly so far with Niners, and then coming here, did that matter to you?
No, this is a big time organization. It's not like
I'd say it is.
Yeah.
I'm saying, was that important to you?
I don't think it matters. As long as with a team that everybody loves ball, everybody's coming together for one goal, and that's to win a Super Bowl. So, and that's what they have here.
What did you think of Jordan Love from the outside, and what do you think of him now that you've seen him up close?
I always thought he was a really good quarterback and a really good leader. Now getting to see it up front, I don't think anything other than that. I think he's a great leader. I think he leads the huddle. Not only that, he leads in the locker room, and he's just a really good player.
So what was free agency like for you? Obviously, it was very short. But what could you kind of take us through that whirlwind of a few hours or days?
I didn't get a lot of contact from my agent until the window opened on that Monday, and he hit me and was like, "Hey, we got good news. Think cheese." So I was like, "All right, deal's done. All right, sounds good."
Seriously, that's all it was?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
There wasn't a ton of communication lead up to that. So
when he says think cheese, what are you thinking?
Green Bay.
Obviously you know of Green Bay. You've played them a few times. So what are you thinking?
I was excited. I think it's, like I said, I think it's a very competitive and hardworking team. Just playing against this defense, it's different when you see it on tape versus actually playing against the team and kind of seeing the brotherhood and the culture that they have here. So I was excited to join it.
When you look at a guy like Josh Jacobs and how he runs the ball, just, what do you see out there, and just, what does it even mean for you as a lineman?
A dog, honestly. He's really good, man. And just watching him on tape, the way he can create in his runs and how physical and downhill he is. I think that a running back plays a big part in the success of the run game, not just the O-line, but the two together. I was excited to get to block for him. He's a really good back.
It's both sides of the equation. We were just talking to Josh earlier, and Saquon had almost as many yards before contact as Josh had total. He had an elite offensive line that gave him a lot of space. Yeah. You could be part of making that life easier for him as well. What could you guys as a group do to make him even better?
I think it's a balance. I think he makes our job easier and vice versa. We make his job easier. So it's really just working together and all being on the same page, trusting him to set up our blocks and trusting him to, when it comes down to it, and he's one-on-one with the guy, and schematically it is, written up for him to make a guy miss, that he's going to make a guy miss and go score. So, yeah, it's just a good balance between the two.
What are your impressions of Green Bay? Were you watching the draft and just being like, all right, that's where I'm headed to, and how crazy you got here for that?
I got here the last day of the draft, so I kind of saw all of the crazy going around and everything. But no, I was just excited to be here. That really doesn't matter to me. I'm kind of well past the draft. So, I'm just excited to be here.
Going back to that call from your agent, were there Like, was it so far and away these guys that there wasn't a whole lot of other teams that even really entered the picture because it happened so quickly?
I mean, that doesn't matter. I'm here, right? So, yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering if it's a really good fit and it took care of it right away. That's obviously a great thing.
Yeah. It is the most ideal. Yeah.
There's a lot of size on this offensive line. What do you think so far mixing with the other guys, and what type of unit can you think? There's also versatility too, guys who can play different positions. How much does that help a unit?
I mean, I think it helps a lot. You got a number of guys who are like Swiss Army knives, but having guys that are not only, you said size, right? Not only large, but guys who can move. So we can, get around the edge. We can go run down linebackers. We can also set up double teams and move people vertically off the ball. So I think just the versatility of the guys that are up front, I think we got a really good group.
Have you had a chance to talk to Ellen Jenkins yet?
I haven't.
So when you come in, does Matt say Montreal? You better leader, but you aren't out of ring because you're still with the pretty good.
Yeah, and I think it'll happen naturally, and I think it'll happen, however it plays out, it'll be what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I think there's a sense of coming in as a veteran and being a leader in the group, especially with the younger group.
Aaron, what are the challenges for creating the connectivity of an offensive line, right? You did it in San Francisco. You were part of that.
Yeah.
Like, there's three guys that are apparently competing for their jobs. There's Elton moving to center, and then there's you, the new guy, coming in. Like, how does that process work, and how do you kind of get it ramped up as quickly as you can so you're ready to hit the ground?
Getting myself or just the group in general?
A group, yeah.
I think that's where these days are really important, and camp, they're really important. Just making sure everybody's dialed in, locked in, and we're working together, we're communicating, and we all have the same goal. We all want to go win, every Sunday and in total win a Super Bowl. So I think when you get a group of like-minded guys who all want to do that, and, there's nothing wrong with guys competing for a spot, competition makes guys better. So I think it'll work out how it's supposed to.
Aaron, did you have any past connections with anyone on the roster or coaching staff, anybody that kind of came across either high school, college, anything?
No, not really. So Buckus played under and coached under Harry Houston, and I played under Harry Houston at Notre Dame briefly. Still have a good connection with him, so that was a pretty good tight connection. And then Aaron Hill, the strength coach, was in SF with me for 2 years as well.
What's it been like, just kind of building, those bonds? Obviously, it's an important time right now, just kind of getting to know.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, man. I think the guys are super. I've been super open and welcoming to me coming in, and just building relationships. They take time, and we're all getting to know each other still, but it's been good.
How are you with the lifestyle change from the A City, Green Bay?
I went to school in South Bend, Indiana, so it's not much different. It's very similar there. So not a huge change for me, and I'm not really a guy that's out and about and partying and stuff anyway. I have a family, so I like to come play football and I like to go home.
You've had a couple of good years now. So what's the next step in your career, you think? It's kind of on a personal note.
I want to win a Super Bowl. That's it. Been close. Just want to win.
What gives you confidence that you guys can do it here during your time?
I feel like they've been so close. Like I said, they've been in the playoffs every year, and a young team and guys are only getting better. So I think as the younger guys on this team start to become older guys and we start to bring everybody along, I just think we're really close. I think we have all the tools and all the pieces to get there, and not only get there, but win it. So
how rewarding is it to get a big contract in free agency? You've been able to grind to this point, and then for a team to have that interest in you, is that rewarding? Is that validating for the work you've put in?
Yeah, I think anybody would say that, it is, a testament to the hard work that you put in and how hard you play. Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Aaron, your answer to Bill was very clear about Super Bowl. These guys have been close, but not as close as you were.
Mm-hmm.
Does that experience of being that close fuel you even more?
Absolutely.
Because most guys, they know how to get to the playoffs, but you were like on the doorstep. What did that feel like, and can you use that to kind of impart to these guys that haven't quite been that close yet?
Yeah, I think it definitely drives me. I think was a frustrating experience. And I think it definitely drives me.
What are your thoughts about Wisconsin hosting Notre Dame here in September of 2020?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. All my ND stuff. I can't wait for that one. Yeah.
Thanks,
You guys appreciate it.
There you go, Aaron Banks, the newest Green Bay Packer, and saying, hey, look, the weather's no big deal. I'm glad to be here, but my goal is one goal, and that is to be a part of this team and win the Super Bowl, which I think to every Packers fan that's out there, that's basically what you want to hear on the consistent. So Aaron Banks inside the locker room, and Mike Clemens bringing us that sound from some of the stuff from yesterday. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. Still about an hour and a half yet to go. We are here live at Flipside Pub and Grill. We're in La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is where you can find us. So if you want to stop by and say hi, please feel free to go ahead and do so. This portion of the program, we go back into the eastern portion of the state of Wisconsin. That's our friends over there at Calderon Club in San Giorgio. If you're looking for terrific Italian food, that's the place to go. Downtown Milwaukee, 838 Old World 3rd Street, whether it's the award-winning spaghetti and meatballs or you go in there for the spicy penne sashina or maybe some of the terrific appetizers like the bruschetta or the eggplant, the great thin crust pizza. And then you go to the other side over to San Giorgio for the authentic pizzeria certified from Napoli, Italy. Both places absolutely awesome, and both places with a very different menu, too, as a matter of fact. So you can go there more than once, obviously, and still never experience everything in just a couple of visits. Go to 838 Old World 3rd Street, downtown Milwaukee, right across the street from the Hyatt Hotel. Again, Calderon Club on one side, San Giorgio on the other. Stop in, tell Gino and the whole staff we said hi.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
And as Pella goes into another windup, it's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years.
Pella also provides a free in-home consultation, which includes a no-obligation quote.
That's always a great play because working with one of Pella's design experts is such a wonderful, no-pressure get-together. I know this from experience.
With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, you can get the look you want at a price you can afford.
And there's no reason to wait with this incredible deal going on.
Get no interest and no payment for up to 2 years.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 6/30/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, the Bill Michaels Show. We are here in La Crosse. Came up last night. We cannot get our tour, if you will, our 2025 tour in La Crosse today of Flair. Next week we'll be in Wausau. We'll be in Rice Lake. We'll be in Elkhart Lake. And we'll be back to La Crosse the following couple of weeks. We're going to be traveling to Green Bay. We're going to be back down to Elkhart Lake, back over to La Crosse. Obviously in Milwaukee, and heading out to Sturgis, South Dakota. All of that. We can't do any of it if we don't have a great partnership with our great friends over there at Marquardt RV and the cruiser that they gave us to use this year. The 2025 Big Unit Cruiser, absolutely fantastic. And I'm telling you, I was out there yesterday at the one in Columbus again, and I went and saw my buddy Munch and those guys, and they worked on it. And they just kind of did a few things because as you drive around, anybody that owns an RV knows there might be something that a wire comes loose or something that you just want to get a look at. And I don't do this every day, so I don't own it. So you always want to make sure you're good, and I took it out there like, no problem, and I see them and I watch them work. And I just wanted to stop in and tell Joe and everybody out there at the store hi anyway. But they really, really do pride themselves on their service and getting it done and done right. And I've watched them work, not with me, but with other customers, and telling them, what is good, what isn't so good. Some of the other customers have come in that have bought units elsewhere, and they can tell them about, what they need to do, what they need to fix, how they want to do it, how they want to run it. They've got a lot of years of experience, but they pride themselves on their customer service and on the backside of things, specifically in the service department, taking care of your needs, because a lot of times you might need it for the next day, Or if you're on your way out of town with the family and the kids are in tow and you're standing there looking at these guys and your family vacation is pending on whether or not they get something fixed, they're really good about it. That's our friends at Marquardt RV, MARKQUART. That's marquardtrv.com. Whether it's a Thor motor coach like is what we cruise around in, or you just want to get a Jayco tow behind, or an Alliance, or a Heartland, or a Gulfstream, I go on and on, or the old-fashioned Winnebagos. They have those as well. Every different type of brand, and 7, 8 different locations in the state of Wisconsin, and a couple of them over in Minnesota as well. Marquardt, MARKQUART, marquardtrv.com. That is marquardtrv.com. As we come back here to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and inside the flip side, Grant Bill's alongside. Ebo's producing the program. I'm Bill Michaels. So what you heard out of Banks and the discussion, which there's only so many questions you can ask, and I get it. He basically stood there for 10, 15 minutes and got a couple of...
Especially before he's even played a game.
A couple repeat questions. You get the acclamation, though. Obviously, when they said, hey, get ready to eat some cheese, he knew where he was going. He was excited about it. But
played to the crowd.
I always think to myself when I listen to some of these guys talk, like, and this is a guy that comes from a good organization, so it's not like he's coming from a bad organization, but he said something that caught my ear was like, this is all about Super Bowls. And I'm not saying that San Francisco wasn't, because obviously they were there. But when he came here and he was brought in to be the starting right guard or starting left guard for the Packers, he had said when they'd asked him about his goals, and he said, this is all about Super Bowls. And which, not only is it endearing as a fan, but this guy's coming in with the focus and the belief that this is a place where he's going to be capable of winning a Super Bowl.
I think so. And I think Packers fans were so insulated following our team that is not perfect, and they've made moves we haven't liked, and they've not made moves that we've wanted them to make. But for the most part, we're used to following and cheering for a very functional organization. Right? And I think we're so insulated in that sometimes we don't know how bad it can be at other places, where it's like, imagine being a Jets fan or a fan of some of these teams. It's like, you guys can't even figure out the most basic things. So when a player arrives in Green Bay and they say, yeah, I want a place that's serious about Super Bowls, it can sound cliche and it can sound like lip service. And I think on some level it probably is a little bit, because Packers paid him a pile of money too. But we do forget that there are plenty of teams out there that they can barely put one foot in front of the other. And the Packers are known as a team that's very functional. They draft well. They spend their money well. They do all the right things, the smart things.
I still, and I was asked a little bit earlier today, somebody in an email, and I apologize. I don't think it was Aaron. I think it was Ben, but said, are you concerned still that Elgton Jenkins is not there? I'm only going to be concerned if he does not show up for the mandatory minicamp.
Sure.
Which I would assume he will, but I would only be concerned if he didn't.
If you're throwing money away if you don't come to that.
Exactly. But because you can be fined at that point. So, but I don't know if the Packers would or would not fine him.
They might have to, according to the CBA. I'm not sure exactly how that works.
Do you look at this now, though? Because remember the question with Matt LaFleur, with Stenovich, when you talk about, the offensive, assistant coaches who we all heard from, and they talked a little bit about Elton. Oh, no, Elton knew. He was good with it. Do we all look at this now as, do we look at them? I don't want to say like they lied to us. I'm sure Elton was good with the change, but when he saw what Banks signed for,
that's the thing.
And then wanted to be paid now because he knows that his salary will reduce as a center when he hits the open market. I'm not saying he's not okay with it, but I think he's looking at the contract going, guys, at least if you're going to move me, at least take care of me.
Yeah.
So should the Packers at least take care of him?
Well, I think it's probably in their best interest because they can straighten away some of the money, right? Like they can clean up their cap sheet, give them a big fat signing bonus, which will make it easier on their salary cap, their hard cap, the money that actually counts against, that finite number of salary dollars that they can spend year to year. I think eventually they will. And sometimes these holdouts bother me a little bit because it sometimes seems so obvious where it's going to end up. Like the Packers are probably going to do this deal. Elgton Jenkins is probably going to take the deal and ultimately end up playing center. So sometimes I wish we could just skip this whole part of it. I think you're barking absolutely up the correct tree when you say it's not the move to center that bothered him. It's the fact that you brought in this other guy and immediately started paying him more than me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like think of your place of work. If your boss came to you and said, we'd like you to do this, you'd say, okay, I'm a team player. But then when they go out and hire someone else, bring them in and they're immediately making more than you and you're better than that person. It's like, well, okay, well, wait a minute. I'll do what you want, but I want to be compensated, appropriately for my value. And I think Elgton Jenkins has got a decent and reasonable gripe with that.
He's looking at this going, I'm going to make 17.6 this year. I know next year they're not going to pay me the 24.8. They're going to cut me.
Yeah.
So give me the extension to at least because he's going to be reduced at position. He's not moving from guard to tackle. He's moving from guard to center. So he's saying at least give me the contract extension and the security moving forward. So I guess my question is, what would be fair as a guy? I mean, to me, would you extend him for another 2 years and another 17 or 18 million bucks a year?
Well, that's the thing. If they tack on another 2 after this one, so he'd be under contract this year, next, and then presumably 2 more. That doesn't mean that
because in the next 2 he'll be 32 years old.
That probably what that does is it doesn't extend his Packers career by 4 years. It extends it by another 2, and then we're right back in the spot where it's like, all right, now next year you could be a salary cap cut, except instead of next year, it's 2 years down the road.
Right.
So I think it would make sense for both parties. And Elton Jenkins, I think probably deep down is thinking, well, I know I'm playing center, but I'm a better left guard than this guy. And I might just be a better left tackle than the guy you got out there. Too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So again, I think you're right. I think you should keep hitting that. It's not the position change, I think, that's bothering him. It's the fact that, well, he's probably still their best lineman, and now they're paying more money to other guys who aren't as good as him.
And the other, I mean, my question is I guess if I'm going to sit down with Brian Gutekunst, are you looking, I mean, is this the year that you're saying, we're only going to use him for 1 year at center? And then we either believe Jacob Monk is going to be ready or we're going to have somebody else ready to go.
Well, and I think Jenkins knows that.
And so that's the reason he's trying to, kind of get the deal done. Otherwise, extending for another year or 2, but make it to where that second year is a year in which you can get out from underneath it, much like the one you have coming up. Yeah. Give the guy another 17 or 18 million bucks.
Which is how most Packers contracts, I mean, if we're being honest, that's how they're structured, because all that money, the guaranteed money is on the front end. You get the signing bonus, you get, the workout bonuses or whatever. And then once all that guaranteed money hits, that's Elton Jenkins' problem right now is he has no guaranteed money left.
Right.
The Packers aren't going to cut him this year because it doesn't make any sense.
Because if they wanted to cut him this year, they'd still save $8.6 million.
Yeah, they would have already done it. It doesn't really make sense for them this year because the salary number doesn't jump until next year.
Right.
So
because you're not going to pay him $24.8 million.
And he knows that. The Packers know. Everyone involved knows that. So I think it's a deal that ultimately makes sense for both sides. Sometimes I wish we could just skip to the conclusion, which is the Packers probably extending him getting more money and then playing center. Although I don't know. It would be interesting to talk to a Packers coach. It's like, do you mind getting the extra looks at Jacob Monk or Sean Ryan?
Right.
You guys know what Elton Jenkins is.
Right.
You know what it's different than quarterback. Like if your starting quarterback isn't there, that affects everybody. If your starting center isn't there, you get to look at different guys and try different combinations. That's probably not the worst thing in the world.
That's the big thing is you're getting looks at other guys. But Elton Jenkins, if he was coming in and he was playing guard, it's no big deal. It's like walking back into something you've done. But now you've got to get the snap count down.
That is true.
And in addition to that, you've got to get the correct snap. We've seen the problems that, now again, long snapper is way different than a center. But when you're talking about as much shotgun as Matt LaFleur ran last year, I mean, this guy's got to be on.
Yep.
He's got to be consistent delivery to your quarterback. So I don't know. I'm not to the point where it's bothering me yet, but when we get to that mandatory minicamp, if he does not show, that's when it really begins to become somewhat concerning.
Agreed.
877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Don't forget about our friends in Milwaukee, a Milwaukee tradition, which is Sobelman's. Sobelman's Pub and Grill, been around a long time, whether it's the great burgers or the big giant meal in a Bloody Mary. That is Sobelman's, the historic place on St. Paul Avenue in Milwaukee, been there 25 plus years, or the newest location, which is in Waukesha on William Street, right across the street from La Station. As they say, we should catch up. Let's meet at Sobelman's Pub and Grill. More of the Bill Michael Show here live at Flipside Pub and Grill in La Crosse. Coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michael Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Gear up for Quick Trip's Mountain Dew Quick Climb. Now through August 17th. Play free daily in the Quick Rewards app and earn bonus plays with every eligible purchase. Grab one with hot food. That's 2 bonus plays. Each week, the cash prize climbs by $5,000, all the way to a $250,000 grand prize. So open the app and get climbing. Your summer, your climb, your win. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents residing in Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, South Dakota, North Dakota, or Wisconsin. Ends August 17th. Bonus plays require qualifying purchase. See full rules at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
And as Pella goes into another windup, it's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years.
Pella also provides a free in-home consultation, which includes a no-obligation quote.
That's always a great play because working with one of Pella's design experts is such a wonderful, no-pressure get-together. I know this from experience.
With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, you can get the look you want at a price you can afford.
And there's no reason to wait with this incredible deal going on.
Get no interest and no payment for up to 2 years.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 6/30/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We got another hour yet to go. We are broadcasting here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Flipside Pub and Grill. We're going to be over at the Lumber Yard a little bit later on. Grant Bill's going to have his show there live from 4 to 6. And hopefully, get a little baseball in. Another hour of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are in Cincinnati. It's where they're going to continue their series tonight against the Reds. Milwaukee's won 8 in a row after taking the series opener last night, 3-2. The winning streak has featured all kinds of games for the club. They won when scoring 17 runs and won when they scored just 3 a couple times. There have been blowouts and multiple extra inning games. Christian Yelich says that's just how winning streaks are.
And if you want to be a good team, that's what you got to do. You can't win the same way every night. It takes contributions from everybody. You know, it's been good starting pitching, good bullpen, and doing well as an offense, playing good defense. So anytime you want to try to stack some wins, you got to do everything well. You know, you can't lack in one facet of the game. So it's been fun to see. It's cool to see like us come together as a team and play good fundamental baseball and how the game's supposed to be played.
Yelich was named the NL Player of the Week yesterday and delivered another home run in that win, despite being forced to leave the night before with a hand injury tonight. Freddie Peralta going to get the ball for the Crew. Comes in 5-3 with a 2.77 ERA. Allowed 3 runs over 5 innings in his last start. The Reds counter with Hunter Green. He's 4-3 with a 2.63 ERA. He lost his last 2 starts despite giving up 4 runs total. First pitch is set for 6:10.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the Packers back in the field today as OTAs continue. They'll close out the offseason next week with a 3-day minicamp. And Wisconsin continues to add to their 2026 recruiting class, getting a commitment from 3-star tight end Jack Severs out of Washington. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome back. We are live. We are at Flipside Pub and Grill, Arby's Flipside Pub and Grill here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Bill Michaels Show, final hour of the program. On this drizzly day, we're hoping to get baseball in tonight over at the Lumberyard, where the La Crosse Loggers in the Northwoods League going to take on the Eau Claire Express tonight. First pitch 6:10. Is that when it's supposed to be tonight?
6:35.
6:35.
I believe.
So we've got that coming up tonight, if indeed they get the game in. And you said before they try very hard out here to make sure that they get the Northwest League's games in.
Yeah, they do. And I don't know if it's any different when it's like the Express, but when you got a team from Thunder Bay down here, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to miss opportunities to play games, especially with travel. It might be a little different tonight, but yeah, they typically work pretty darn hard. So we'll see. I don't know. I've been texting.
They've got Eau Claire again tomorrow, don't they?
Yep, they do. So
Maybe
they could always
the doubleheader tomorrow.
You can always play a doubleheader. I don't know. I tell you what, I'm going to have someone from the Loggers, Ben Kapang. He's going to join me tonight, so maybe I'll ask him about that. I'm sure that's something that they.
Yeah, you're going to be. For those that don't know, you're going to be doing your show over there at the Lumberyard. So we pack this up, we jump in the RV.
Correct.
We then head a little bit across town, and we're going to be over there for a while.
And maybe you can park right behind home plate or right down the first baseline if they're not playing ball. I wouldn't recommend it otherwise if there's a game going on.
Quite a few foul balls. It might knock out the solar system on the roof.
Yeah, we don't want any. That's got to get us through tomorrow. That's got to get us up to Eau Claire. I don't want any.
Got to get me all over the state now.
You have a busy couple of weeks
South
with
Dakota.
That thing. Yeah,
the tour is on. The summer of 25.
We need to make a big graphic with all the dates and the like an arena rock band.
Our graphics are coming. They just the guy that does it for us from Sticky Boys. They are also part of Wabam and the Joe Cool race team. Mm-hmm. And they're out racing right now. So he hasn't been back in the shop. So we're waiting for our the logos of the band and Quick Trip and such to go up. But that being said, it should be by next week. We should be up and running and looking good. But that'll hopefully take place. But yeah, well, that's where we'll be a little bit later on today. For now, for the next hour, we're at Flipside Pub and Grill. You can stop out and say hi if you're listening to us in the La Crosse area. Come on by, or as our buddy Ernie Betts from down in Viroqua did, he stopped by. Which happy birthday to Ernie! What is it? 57?
You don't look a 62? Day over 43.
69?
69. I don't believe that.
Okay. I wasn't quite sure. I thought you hung out with Jesus back in the day. Yeah.
The Fountain of Youth is down there.
Doing
in Viroqua.
yeah, I know. So, but Ernie came up to see us from Viroqua. So if you want to come by, say hi. Wish Ernie a happy birthday. You can do that as well. So we were sitting here talking before about coming into this segment about some of the things going on in Green Bay. So is there anything notable that you've seen come across Twitter a little while ago?
Well, the first thing that I was looking at when the Packers first took the field is what's going on with Marshawn Lloyd. He's practicing.
He's back.
He's been out running routes even. So it looks like I don't know why he was in the rehab group for the first practice. I don't know if we ever learned. But he's back out on the practice field today. And I'm also been watching where they rep Jordan Morgan. He took some reps at left tackle with the first team.
Did he?
So they're giving him some work there. They also gave him reps with the first team at right guard too, but that's nothing new. That's where he's played, and that's where he's repped really since he got to Green Bay last summer.
The one thing that I will say, and I know that we pay attention to all this stuff, and it gives us fuel for our shows. I don't give two damns about where they're repping him too much. What they're doing now is they're indoctrinating him to say, do you understand where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there?
Sure.
Otherwise, nobody knows anything until they put the pads on come training camp. And they start knocking each other over, whether or not this guy can play that. He has the technique to play that position versus a tackle versus a guard versus a center. Can he get the snap back to Jordan Love on a consistent basis? Who's getting blown up, who doesn't, move to their left or their right very well. They want interchangeable bits on the offensive line. We know that. And specifically when you look at what happened last year against Philadelphia in the postseason, when you had both Rasheed Walker and Elton Jenkins go down, it was a dam break. I mean, it was just a deluge on top of Jordan Love, and he didn't have any time to throw the ball at all. And it was pretty much done after that. So they're trying to make sure everybody knows their assignments and where they're supposed to be. But we get so caught up. I was sitting there listening to one of the podcasts the other day about that, the placement of the linemen and where they're going to be. And, oh, wait a minute, guess over here. And my whole thing is I don't make any judgments until you see guys, whether they are or are not getting blown off the ball in the line of scrimmage when they put the pads on. Because that when it really begins to matter.
Yeah, this time of year, it's meetings, it's PowerPoints, it's going through the playbook and just seeing if you can wrap your mind around it. Because, look at last year, a great example was Edgerrin Cooper. Dude flashed every time he was on the field.
Right.
But for the first month or two of the season, Matt LaFleur basically had to yell in our face in press conferences to say, yeah, there's so much he doesn't understand yet.
Right.
There's so many different parts of the defense and alignments and schemes and gaps and such that he hasn't wrapped his arms around. So if Jordan Morgan can theoretically, in theory, quite literally understand how to play tackle or how to play guard, you check that box in June. But to your point, the next test then, can you actually physically play the position after understanding it? And that won't happen until pads are on and helmets are on and you actually go live.
Yeah. I had a guy email me yesterday, as a matter of fact, when we got off the air and said, hey, let's be honest. The Packers won one game in the division last year, and we're talking now about, every year it's about Super Bowls and getting there and how much better they are. And he said, in a realistic ask, how much better are the Green Bay Packers than the rest of the division to even consider getting deep into the postseason? Well, first of all, they couldn't beat the good teams. They couldn't beat Detroit. They couldn't beat Minnesota. They couldn't beat Philadelphia. Philadelphia ultimately goes on and wins the Super Bowl. So they couldn't do that. How much better did they get? Then you got to look. Philadelphia, in my opinion, has regressed. They lost 7 guys off of that defense, and they've obviously changed up a few things there. So we'll see if they're able to repeat, which is very tough to do. And no team in that division has won the division in back-to-back years since Moses was a baby anyway.
Yeah.
Detroit is still good, but they lost a bevy of coordinators and coaches. So we'll see how long it takes them to finally get, their feet under them and understand all the new terminology and technology and all
2
that.
2 great linemen, too. Another one yesterday.
And Ragnow ends up calling it a career.
Zeitler, too. They lost him.
Did. And then Minnesota kind of lost the little engine they could in Sam Darnold. Now they're going to the young guy in J.J. McCarthy. Will he get it, understand it, deliver, and be as good or better to give them a 14-win season? And then the guy that was kind of the brains behind everything offensively in Detroit has gone to Chicago, and does he elevate the Bears, who have made it a concerted effort to bolster the offensive line? It was so bad that didn't allow Caleb Williams time. Now you've got an innovator and what's considered to be a quarterback whisperer in Ben Johnson going to Chicago. So where realistically does it leave the Green Bay Packers? And my thought is, well, I'll say it again. It's all Jordan Love.
Yeah.
If Love takes the step forward, this team can be really good. If he plays the same way he did last year, it's going to be the same result. If he plays worse, they're not going anywhere.
Do you think, I had a caller bring this to my attention last night, do you think it's a red flag that Packers fans and Packers people are talking more about how the rest of the division is going to get worse, the Lions and the Vikings specifically, rather than talking about how the Packers are going to get that much better? Is that something that you've thought about? Because a caller brought that up to me last night. I'm like, oh, balls. Is that what we're doing? Because we're trying to poke holes in Detroit.
Well, we've
and
said
Minnesota. Yeah. Is there a large reason to believe on either side of the ball in Green Bay that internally they will get that much better,
Right.
or are we truly counting on the other teams in the division to fall back a little bit?
We've said that I don't want to see the Packers win by default.
You have said that. Yep.
I want to see the Packers win because they got that much better, because Jordan Love progresses. And I still, the addition of Banks, the addition of Hobbs, the draft choices, Matthew Golden, first receiver since 2002, and Javon Walker, and yada, 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 whatever. Since all of that, that's great. But it doesn't mean anything if Jordan Love doesn't take that step forward. And you know as well as I do, when we were sitting there with all of those coaches and Greg Cosell and all those guys down in Super Bowl, we were talking to all those people in New Orleans, it all hinges on if Jordan Love takes that step, if he ends up with better mechanics, if he keeps his feet under him, if he's better on off-scripted plays and able to deliver the football in that intermediate range where he was so off, so to speak, this past year. And, whether or not the play calling is good and if they're running more play action. And we don't get into the semantics of what play action is. We actually know what play action is. Just, do they utilize that more to scheme guys open as good as Matt LaFleur's play calling was a couple of years ago?
And are Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks going to catch the ball? I think that's when we talk about
Williams too.
Yeah, and we talk about areas where the Packers will get better outside of the rest of the division. Forget the Vikings and the Lions. Like, I think that's one area where they just have so much space to improve. And like, even if Jordan Love plays basically the same that he did last year, like if Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks just improve a little bit each, catching the ball, being a little bit more reliable, they left so many conversions, first down conversions, points, extra yards. Right. They left so much on the field last year.
I still think about the overthrow in the game against Philadelphia to an open Tucker Kraft. Now, Tucker Kraft cut off the route about 5 yards short, which is the reason we're talking about Jordan Love stepping up as a leader and making sure that guys are in the right place at the right time. But I still think about the overthrow. I still think about that intermediate pass where he just sailed a few of them and ended up falling into the hands of the opponent rather than into the hands of his wide receiver. Yeah. So, and this is a good question by Kenny Mack. He said, let's say Jordan Love does not have a good year. Do the Packers, after what would be 2.5 years of average to below average play versus the half year of really, really, really good, almost MVP level play, do the Packers start looking for another quarterback?
They might start internally considering and thinking what that would look like down the line. No, I think Love's here for a bit. I don't think they're going to go that far. Now, Ed Policy might start to wonder. It's like, okay, so LaFleur,
did we make the right decision? Yeah.
Or Jordan Love's contract, probably a separate thing, but he might start thinking, all right, LaFleur's been here how long? Goody's been here how long? I don't think he's going to fire anybody, but it would be completely out of the ordinary for someone new to take over the ship and start to wonder about, well, none of these guys were my hires. I would bet that he was involved because he's been in Green Bay for so long. But these are just things to think about and kick around.
Ed Policy's had a voice, and he knows these guys, but I agree with you. Now, the other thing and that he brings up, and I think it's a very good point, I think with the defense being better, they can give that offense more opportunities. Getting off I think getting off the field on third down and the way they were able to create turnovers, specifically at the beginning of the year, if they could be more consistent with that throughout the year and give the offense more opportunities, I think the offense will be genuinely better. But all the talk, all the stuff that we get into, all the stuff that all the writers, and they got it right. I know that because we do this for a living and we got to talk about stuff. All the things that we discuss and all the little analytics and all the things we get into and all the stuff that we're like, oh, this is juicy. It doesn't mean blank if Jordan Love doesn't play better.
Yeah.
None of it. Doesn't mean anything. I've just been doing this so long. We always talk about the number one thing in the NFL is who's got a quarterback and who doesn't. The teams that have it have a legitimate shot at getting to the postseason. The teams that don't, they're pretty much done, and they're waiting to see what the lottery is going to be next year for the quarterbacks. So if you have good quarterback play, you got a really legitimate shot at getting to the postseason. And I look at it as you got a tougher schedule this year. You've got to have better quarterback play just to get back to where you were last year record-wise.
Yep.
And really good quarterback play if you're going to take it the step beyond. And that's why I think this year all eyes are so heavily glued on Jordan Love and what he does. Not specific little individual plays. Because it's great to see the glimpses of what he can be on a consistent basis, but now you need to see the consistent basis out of Jordan Love. It's time.
I think Packers fans, you're not asking Jordan Love to grow by leaps and bounds. You're just asking him to refine his game a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? The high-level throws were there last year, and the boneheaded throws were there too. But the high level and the boneheaded throws were there for him as a rookie. I think the difference between his rookie season down the stretch and long stretches of play last year, injury and stuff notwithstanding, is the easy throws, second and 8 when you have a guy wide open on a slant over the middle, like that's got to be an easy throw every time. So you got to make the easy throws easier and the more consistent throws more consistent. It's not about the high end or the low end. It's about the meat and potatoes in the middle. And I think if Jordan Love gets a little bit better there, we're talking about a season that's much more fluid. The offense is much more consistent, and it's not a huge ask for a young quarterback.
Going to go ahead and take a quick break. This portion of it is brought to you by our good friends that we are going to visit tonight, and that is Buzzard Billy's. If Heather is listening here in La Crosse, Heather, I apologize. We got here late last night, later than we wanted to. We were hoping to get here about 8. We didn't get here till about 9:30 last night. We ended up getting out of here, or getting out of the Milwaukee area a little bit later than we wanted to, but got here late. So tonight, we got some, hopefully, baseball at the Lumberyard. Then the nightcap at Buzzard Billy's and a good eat over there, maybe even a beverage at the Starlight Lounge. But, man, good stuff at Buzzard Billy's. We will see you over there later this evening. That 1860s Brick Hotel. Love it right there on Pearl Street in La Crosse, Wisconsin. A quick walk from where we're at. Even in the rain, I'll walk to Buzzard Billy's. I don't give a damn. The Starlight Lounge upstairs, that 1950-style cocktail lounge, fantastic. You got Buzzard Billy's downstairs, Starlight Lounge upstairs on Pearl Street, downtown La Crosse. We will see you over there a little bit later on this evening. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up live here in La Crosse, Wisconsin at Flipside Pub and Grill. We'll be back right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Own the land you defend. And that's what they do. They make sure that they give you the best deals, the best rates, the best VA lender out there when it comes to you being a veteran or a military member or a family member of, whether it's, no down payment or better credit requirements. But they go through every governmental loophole to make sure that you get what you deserve as those who have signed on the dotted line. And that is our friends at Veterans America. Call James anywhere in the state of Wisconsin. Call him 262-255-2000. It's 262-255-2000. And again, that is Veterans America. And they really do know all the ins and outs of getting you everything when it comes to your home loan as a veteran and a military member or a family member thereof. So again, 262-255-2000, or you can go to veteransamerica.com. That is veteransamerica.com. Couple of things. First of all, I want to get to Aaron over in the email. He said, great to see Yelich hitting so well. I was willing to be patient with him because sometimes he does just start out slow. You mentioned the cycle that he gets in where he finally starts hitting and then he's out with an injury. Hopefully that doesn't happen this season. The back surgery he had last year is supposed to be able to prevent that. That's why it was worth biting the bullet and going through all the bad times and missing so much of last year. So hopefully that is all behind him now. While they are on a nice streak now, I still believe that they're going to need to acquire at least one good bat to really compete for the National League Central, let alone the postseason success. If cheap-ass Mark does not buy, we have the Packers to fall back on come the end of July and into August, so we can't wait. That's the one thing, and I'm not saying Mark looks at it this way, but a lot of people that are massive Packers fans and casual Brewers fans, and I know people get mad at me when I say it, but for a long time, it was just be competitive until football season.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's you really want to see a fun preseason, which we really don't care about much anymore, and get into the regular season, and the Brewers be relevant in September going into October. And I'm not going to say Mark the cheap ass, but what I do want to see is they need to make a move. They need another bat in that lineup, preferably a right-handed bopper if they can find one. But they do need to find at least one more bat because, as we heard from Chuck Freeman a little bit earlier today, they got a plethora of pitching. My God, they got a lot of pitching.
They have too much pitching, especially if at any point this season Nestor Cortez comes back or they want to use Logan Henderson at the major league level. I think he's been one of their better starters. And, of course, where do you put Brandon Woodruff? Right? They got a lot of spots. And I know you can never have enough pitching. And I'm always hesitant to trade away pitching because as soon as you trade it away, that's when you're going to end up needing it. But they got a lot of arms, Bill.
Yeah.
Like, do they need Aaron Savali? Do they absolutely need Aaron Savali? Especially if there's a team out there that wants a stable starter,
right,
and has an extra bat to trade away. Just something to think about.
They went through over on ESPN. They went through the Brewers prospect rankings, and what they said was a very deep system with another dozen or so prospects who could be in the top 10. They've got that many guys. The catcher Marco Dingus. The fourth round pick that they had, the right-handed pitcher Tyson Harden. In the 12th round, two notable picks from the 2024 draft class who are also in the mix, but they look at Jesus Mate, the shortstop, which maybe he finds his way up. And I'm not going to say that that's who they're holding out hope for if this whole thing over at shortstop this year does not work out. But Mate certainly made a name for himself. There's Jacob Mizorowski, the right-handed pitcher, Luis Pena, the other shortstop who has begun to kind of climb in the system. Then they've got another shortstop in Cooper Pratt who can play the infield. They've got another outfielder in Braylon Payne. There's Mizorowski, Logan Henderson, the righty, who has climbed in the minor league system. Bishop Letzon, I should say. And then Brock Wilken, who is not having a great season right now. He's fallen off a little bit, they say. He was originally ranked as the 9th guy. He's now ranked as the 10th guy. It's not a terrible season, but he's fallen a little bit. Same as Luke Adams, the first baseman. But they have two shortstops in Pena and Mate that they believe that are going to be the next. So, if Joey Ortiz doesn't work out, he's a guy that might not be looking over his shoulder for somebody as far as a trade goes. He could be looking over his shoulder as somebody, they just may go cheaper and wiser and bring somebody up through the farm system to say, hey, look, you've got competition.
Well, and presumably at some point better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Ortiz has been given an opportunity last year at third and this year at short to basically be like, hey, you're the starter. You have to work really, really hard to lose this job.
Yeah.
There just hasn't been a ton of competition because last year it was Oliver Dunn, who wasn't close to good enough for Monasterio. And then this year it was Vinny Capra and Oliver Dunn at third. They just don't have many options. That's because they're kind of in between with their farm system right now. Most of their better interior players on the infield are a couple levels away still. And I have no doubt that at some point the Brewers are circling those guys, but let's say it's another 2 or 3 years. That's a long time to just be in flux at third base or at shortstop.
But it's good to know that, and I hate to say this, I mean, I've always looked at the farm system as just that, a farm system. It's where you can cultivate it, and if you need to trade it off, you can, if you're going to make your big league team better, because you never know what it's going to be. I mean, for how many years you saw guys like Neugebauer and Matt Laporta and all these guys were supposed to be these great high-end prospects.
Even Matt Gamble,
Matt Gamble, and they just never panned out. And Keston Hiura, probably one of the more notable names that they gave him every opportunity, and it never panned out. That's why this whole thing about, you can't get rid of that guy, you can't get rid of this guy. I don't, if you're in the minor league system, you're there for a reason right now. You're not a major leaguer. If somebody looks at you and values you for a major leaguer that can come in and help this team right now, and maybe you can get some controllable years out of that particular player, those are all pieces to me. Like, continue to rise in the system, that's great, and continue to make a name for yourself, that's awesome. But if it's going to better the team this year and maybe next year, and then continue to put them in the postseason and better them, then I'm all for it, because that's what the minor league's for.
Yep. And that's the thing. I think the only world in which we see the Brewers aggressive in adding at the trade deadline, I wouldn't even consider it buying, because I don't think the Brewers buy or sell like most teams do. But what I could see them doing is say, well, we've always liked this guy.
Right.
He's in, Colorado or wherever. We've always liked this guy. We thought he would be a great fit, and he's available. Not only can he come in and play for us this year, but he can start for the next 2 years until prospect ABC or whoever is available. That's the world that I see the Brewers adding, very similar to the Adames trade in 2020. It's just hard to do those deals because typically teams don't deal guys with multiple years of control.
Right.
Typically it just doesn't happen. So it's rare.
And the fact that they do have knock on wood, it continues to get better. They have a plethora of pitching right now.
Yeah.
And they've got guys that are on the come, and they're going to get deeper in the outfield at some point, you would assume, when you get Garrett Mitchell back and you get Blake Perkins back, both of those guys. And Blake Perkins, remember, that shin was fractured back in February.
Yeah, I thought he'd be back by now.
I did too. I thought he'd be back. Now, I know you can't really do a whole lot. You got to really get into condition, because once you fracture a shin, you're basically off of your feet or off of that leg. So you got to get everything back and healthy. But Garrett Mitchell eventually is going to be back. And then you still have a guy like Brandon Woodruff, who will be coming back. You got Gasser. You got who had the Tommy John surgery, and he'll be back at some point this season, but not immediate.
Yeah, and that's another arm they have waiting in the wings. We didn't even talk about Gasser.
Right. And then you've still got Nestor Cortez, who's got that strained elbow flexor that at some point you would assume hopefully that it doesn't require any kind of a surgery down the road, but he's the guy. But you've got a pretty deep group of pitchers and such right now. And you have guys that you maybe could go to and say, hey, we've got a full boat. We've got Peralta and Priester and Patrick and Quintana and Savale. And when you get these guys back like Cortez or Gaster and Woodruff, and you're going to start pushing guys out. Maybe those pieces, coupled with something out of your minor league system, find you that bat that gives you a little bit, maybe a year or two of controllability, and finds you maybe a left side of the infield.
Well, I said this yesterday. There's a chance that I think Brandon Woodruff serves this team better as a long reliever and not as a traditional starter. Like, why not put him in the group with Ashby and DL Hall? You can open if we need a little length on the front end. You can be a piggyback tandem type starter if we need a little length coming out of a start. Now his velocity's dropped a little bit. So typically if guys are throwing less innings, you would want their velocity and their effort to be up, which is kind of the inverse of Woodruff. But I wonder, because that rotation has been set, I'm not super amped to chase any of them out of there except maybe Savali. I just don't know where Brandon Woodruff fits right now.
Let's just say Woodruff comes back and he's not what he was before he went down, but he's close. You'd have Woodruff, Peralta. Quintana just threw. We'll wait and see how he amounts to. Priester, who just got another win.
That was his best outing of the year on Friday.
Savale has been good. There's Chad Patrick,
who's been great.
Who's
I wouldn't
been
touch
really
him.
great.
Yeah.
So, what do you go? Peralta, Patrick.
Right now, I think it's
Woodruff,
Peralta, Priester, Patrick, Quintana, Savali.
Right, but do you go if say you got to bump somebody and Woodruff comes back and starts to pitch extremely well? I mean, he looks healthy.
I'd probably bump Savali.
Savali gets bumped, and you put Woodruff at the bottom of the rotation.
Yeah, that's probably
for the time being.
I don't want to touch anybody else.
Right.
I like Quintana as their lefty. Chad Patrick's been good, I would bump Savali. I'd try to trade Savali.
Yeah.
I would try to do.
That's what I'm saying. Then you'd have a trade chip, or if you decide to move them to the bullpen and you take one of the arms out of the bullpen, you can have a trade chip of the bullpen arm and one of your minor leaguers for somebody that's got an established bat.
You could do that. There's lots of possibilities. It's going to be interesting to see what the Brewers do because they have a lot more arms than spots right now. And there's a lot of redundancies, which makes it tricky too.
Got to remind you that coming up this weekend on Sunday, Sloppy Joe's Saloon and Spoon is going to host, and that's going to be the starting point for the Hogs for Heroes ride. And then it's going to wind through Lake Country, end up out at Smoke on the Water on Okachi Lake, which across the street they have that old schoolhouse and that great big parking lot. That's where the party is going to be, which is then going to be played musically by they're going to have some great stuff out there. As a matter of fact, coming up this weekend, they're going to have great bands. It's going to be for a great cause. But you've got a lot of good stuff going on when it comes to our friends out there at Smoke on the Water. For what they do, Bobby Frisk Band is going to be there musically, I should say, but for what they do for the Hogs for Heroes, and they support our ride, the Big Unit Poker Run, which is coming up on August 31st. But we're going to go out there and support their ride coming up this weekend as well. So if you can make it out there to Sloppy Joe's, if you ride a motorcycle coming up this weekend on Saturday or on Sunday morning, head out to Sloppy Joe's, get registered, ride the ride, end up at Smoke on the Water, check out the Bobby Frisk Band after the fact, and all the money raised goes towards Hogs for Heroes, where they will give away yet another Harley Davidson to a deserving veteran. So if you can make it, by all means do so. That is our friends out there at Sloppy Joe's and Smoke on the Water. Both of those places owned by Joe and Ellen Hennis. They are fantastic people, big supporters of our ride as well, but big supporters of veterans in the community. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit about the Giannis thing, because all of that rumor and innuendo, that's starting to go away. And we'll recap what happened out there at Aaron Hills this past weekend as well. Jim Ozarski of the Journal Sentinel coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We are live. We are at Flipside Pub and Grill. We're here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. A little bit of drizzle going on. Hopefully it lightens up. They get the game in tonight. We're going to be heading over to the Lumberyard and checking out the La Crosse Loggers later on this evening. Grand Bill's Show is going to be from there from 4 to 6. And the Eau Claire Express are in town. So maybe the skies will lighten up and give us a little bit of a break, and we get some Northwoods League baseball in coming up a little bit later on this evening as well. Joining us now on the hotline. Always good to get a chance to talk to him, and that's our buddy Jim Ozarski. And Jim is coming off of not just obviously a basketball season, but he was out at the U.S. Open, so he's had a lot going on. So some good stuff from our buddy Jim Ozarski. Jim, how you doing, man?
I am lovely, Bill. It was a great week at the U.S. Women's Open at Erin Hills, but also shocking intro there that the local beat writer you had was like, there's really not much to write with this anyway.
Right.
The big fella. Yeah, it does. Look, we'll probably see some stuff pick up around the draft. It's just natural, Bill, with a broadcast that needs to now last over 2 days. But you're right. It nationally, it does seem like some folks are kind of walking back some of the hot and heavy interest.
One of the things that I'd heard, and I think I was listening on the NBA network the other day when I was out driving, was the fact that the likelihood of Giannis being traded is almost nil because of what the Bucks would get in return, and that would basically empty the war chest of any team that would want him. It's not like you're going to add him as a piece and then take off, and next thing you know, you're a champion, because the Bucks are going to want a lot of collateral in return if you do indeed get Giannis, which pretty much makes, for many of these teams hoping to get one player to get them over the hump, it makes it kind of unlikely. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, and this is something we spoke about, Bill, again, kind of out of the combine in mid-May, which was if there were, this is Giannis being traded out of Milwaukee is an A to Z proposition in terms of steps that need to happen. and Z being he's finally traded. So down in around X is that exact point, Bill. He has 2 years left on his contract. Is one, and the Milwaukee Bucks and their ownership group really have no interest in putting out a product at Fiserv Forum, Bill, that's going to, win 20 games. I mean, we won't go through the whole litany again, but Jimmy Haslam, Wes Edens, John Horst are here to win basketball games. And you're right, any deal, theoretical or whatever, the return is our players, are your best players, because the Milwaukee Bucks are not doing anyone any favors here. They are going to look at what's best for them. And you're right. It would be, okay, Giannis makes $54 million. What are your matching salaries? And typically, Bill, that means those are your all-stars or your best players coming back.
Sure.
Oh, and we're going to take all your draft picks too.
Yes.
And yes, suddenly, Bill, that doesn't look too great for the team trying to make that call. And no discredit to them; they should call 29. That's what GMs do. Every summer, 29 teams should call John Horst and see, what is potential there. But you're right, Bill. For as much as there's an assumption that just because a player would potentially theoretically dream about a trade, it doesn't mean it's just, okay, there you go. No.
Right.
There are other factors involved, and I think the reality of this sort of talking point is far more stark for teams than just let's just throw some stuff out in the wind.
So at what point, Jim, do we hear real news regarding the Bucks? Do you think it's once you get to the draft and then people start jockeying for position and start talking about the possibility of trading draft choices, or when free agency is officially underway, or at what point do we start hearing about more real news regarding the Milwaukee Bucks?
Well, I'll take that meaning, some sort of Giannis decision. And what's interesting about that, Bill, is I don't know what the decision is. He's under contract, so I don't think there's going to be some, I'm back type of post because he never left.
Right.
It's not like the Bucks are going to be like,
maybe it's not even about Giannis,
right?
though.
Like that's just not how he or the team operates. So, in terms of Giannis, I don't think you're going to hear anything.
Maybe it's not about Giannis. Maybe it's about just other guys on the team then.
Yeah.
At what point do they start hearing about other pieces, I guess?
So that will be the draft. Because teams, the framework of draft day trades are getting worked out now. Now that everyone knows where everyone's picking. Options for players, the deadline for that, like Pat Connaughton's option is June 24th. Which he will assuredly pick up. So when the Bucks get into the draft, they know that Pat Connaughton is coming back for $9 million. Some of the other guys, Kevin Porter Jr., Bobby Portis are after the draft, which is a little more typical. But you'll probably have a good idea. Like they're not going to change their mind 3 days later, right? Like you're probably going to know what they're going to do. So I think the draft is one area, Bill, where you might hear some stuff. And then legal tampering now, that begins June 30th, right in earnest. And that runs through July 6th. And that's where you're going to hear no official deals. So sources and reports will say XYZ of moves happen. It's going to really kick up right before the draft, during the draft, and then that whole week after.
Jim, I don't know why it bothers me, but it bothers me the fact that the NBA was so quick to allow Tyrese Halliburton's father back into the arena after only a couple of games missed when he went out and confronted Giannis at the end of their series between the Pacers and the Bucks. I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. Because if it was you or me, we would never see the inside of a basketball arena probably for the rest of our lives. So does it bother you that the NBA acquiesced so quickly and caved so mightily in this?
It is strange. I mean, it was a talking. We spoke right after the series, Bill, and it was the story for an entire news cycle instead of the Pacers beating the Bucks. And so I do think it is weird to go from this ban for the postseason that's now this put him in the suite. I guess if you were the NBA, you should put him in the suite to begin with, or keep the punishment. Right? I don't know. You're right. I don't know why. I guess I don't know if this is a deterrent for other family members. Because, yeah, you're right, Bill. The regular person, of course, they are never setting in foot inside an NBA arena again. So really what this precedent is are relatives or close family members, and John Halliburton's not the first. Stuff down has happened in Memphis quite often, right? And, like, we've seen, you know, family members or entourages or friends, like, get involved where they shouldn't be. So, yeah, Bill, they should have done one or the other. Keep them out or just put them in the suite to begin with. Although I will say this, I'll give Tyrese Halliburton credit. He has sort of said, look, my dad's fine. He's sitting in a house. He's not in jail, like this whole free John. He's like my dad's good. He's not like incarcerated. So I'll give Tyrese credit for that, for trying to at least say, wait a minute, guys, we're, you know, his return to a suite is maybe not what it should sound like, I guess.
The matchup that we now have, I know it's probably not what the NBA wanted when you talk about Oklahoma City and Indiana, but what odds do you give Indiana to beat Oklahoma City, who just looked so good, so fast, so up and down, and they play the same style of basketball, but I think they're just better at it.
Yeah, I agree, and you know, you have a whole season and a whole playoff run, a sample size to prove that point, that that they are, you know, the better team and by far the better team. So, look, it is pro sports. There's always a chance, Bill. So it's not nothing. I think I saw something in terms of, you know, of a betting line that this would be, you know, arguably one of the greater betting upsets in NBA Finals history, at least going back to the 90s, for sure. I will give them a chance, though, Bill, because, look, man, I think the Milwaukee Bucks have overlooked Indiana Pacers the last 2 years. I think national media, I mean, they are a team that they're not afraid. And if they're down 2-0 and they lose by a total of 52 points in those two games, Bill, that doesn't mean they won't win Game 3 in Cambridge, right? Like, they're a team that I think they're uniquely equipped mentally to handle what's coming. And that includes probably a massive beatdown in one of these first two games. I mean, just by the math, the Thunder do that to teams. So I'm going to give them a chance. I think the gentleman's sweep is what I'm hearing quite a bit. So just to be maybe a little contrarian and give the Pacers some credit, I do think let's go 6 games. I think Indiana will get 2, and it'll be a good finals. It'll be exciting. They play good. Well, the Thunder play such great defense. The Pacers play such fun offense. I think it could be a really fun series.
OKC had the most 10-point wins. They won 61 games, but the most 10-point wins by 10 points or more in NBA history throughout this season. I still look at what Jordan's team did in winning 72, right, is the record, I think, 72 wins for the most wins in a regular season. It's still 11 wins away from what the Bulls did, but yet many are maybe prisoners of the moment, trying to crown this as the best regular season in NBA history. And I would disagree vehemently, considering the way the style of play was back when the Bulls did it, winning 72, the way the Bulls team was constructed, the physicality with which they played back then, the fact that they all played back then and they didn't work on load management and such. I still don't think anybody's ever going to duplicate that or surpass the 72 wins. I do believe this is a tremendous season, but I'm not going to go as far as to say this is the greatest season in NBA history, as many are.
Yeah, I would say even if they finish the job, and again, here, Bill, is the point of anything can happen. The 73-9 Golden State Warriors did not win the title, right? And
73 Golden State. You're right. I forgot about them.
But that's the point. You did forget about them because they didn't win.
Right.
And because look, you don't wish that scenario on the Thunder, but again, that's why they play sports, right? But to your point, a prisoner of the moment, I think there is a little bit of that because again, with all of the advanced metrics and analytics and the way people measure teams, point differential, as you said, the Thunder blow teams out. that's what they do. They win by a lot very often. And they are a great combination in this era, Bill, of you mentioned load management. This is a try hard team. Like, they try hard all the time. And that, I know that sounds weird on its surface, but NBA fans know this, Bucks fans know this. These guys don't always try hard. It's January, it's February, it's March. Roll the ball out and play and not whatever. And then you got to eke out a comeback win. No, the Thunder try hard all the time, and then they beat everybody, BTA, as the kids say. So, like, there's a credit to them for that, Bill, but I do think the point differential stuff is a little flawed because, those great teams, which the 71 Bucks are in this conversation, by the way,
right.
for one of the greatest teams of all time, point differential included, when there was no 3-point shot. And that's the point, is like these 3-point shots, teams shoot themselves into big deficits, teams blow teams out because they made 23s and the other team made 4. So I agree with you. I'm not really into what the point differential stuff is because it's hard to cross eras in that way. I think it's unfair. But 72-10. Look, man, they went 68-14, which is great. It's an all-time great season. It's not 70 wins. And so I'll leave it at that. I agree with you. There are certain metrics that exist, and 72 and a title is really hard to top when it's 68 and a title, in my opinion.
Right. No doubt. Hey, Jim, real quick before I let you go, give me your thoughts kind of wrapping up the weekend that was with the Women's U.S. Open out at Erin Hills.
Yeah, what a great event. Unfortunately, well, for those who may have been rooting for world number 1 Nelly Korda to get her first U.S. Women's Open, she made a run. She made it interesting.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite finish it out. Yeah, Maya Stark, really steady play to win on that golf course, Bill, and great event. The fan turnout, as always, Bill, in this state for a major was tremendous. It's just unfortunate that, and I wrote about this, jsonline.com, that this is it. This is the end of Wisconsin as a major championship hub. From 98 to 25, we had a really great run of 7 majors, a Ryder Cup, and now that's gone. Those
right.
organizations, date changes, organizational changes, we're flyover again, and maybe we get one here or there over the next 30 years, Bill. But it was a great tournament. I think a great show out for the state in an event that it should be special as a national championship.
I know moving the PGA Championship from August to, May, I know that hurts Wisconsin, don't get me wrong. But also the aging and then ultimately the death of Herb Kohler, who was so tight with the PGA and with those conversations and had so much political pull and oomph. Does his loss then, that's going to be felt because you don't have that same handshake character bigger than life as Herb Kohler was trying to attract all of those entities into the state of Wisconsin, correct?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he was such a massive figure, larger than life in a lot of ways,
yes.
right, Bill?
Right.
And to get, and you know what? I will say this. It's on David Kohler that group would love to keep whistling straight in that conversation. But you're right. The move of the PGA to mid-May effectively takes the Midwest out.
There you go. That is our buddy Jim Ozarski. Some breaking news out of the NBA. The Knicks have fired their head coach, Tom Thibodeau, after 5 seasons. He gets them to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they claim that he wore them out. So, therefore, Thibs is out again. He gets fired in Chicago after getting that team to the postseason. Basically ran out of town at that point in time by Dan Bernstein, who hated him. And then he has a couple other coaching stints. He gets into New York. He takes New York finally back to an Eastern Conference Finals, and they fired him right away. So now we'll wait and see what happens in New York. But that's the breaking news that there is. Let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We only got about 30 seconds before we got to get out of here, but thanks to the entire staff and management of Artie's Flipside Pub and Grill here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. They have been so hospitable, and the food here has been absolutely fantastic. We are now going to get out of here, head over to the lumber yard, and Grant's going to have his show over there. You're here tomorrow, 4 to 6,
yes,
right?
Yes, sir. The
Back here at
evening
Flipside.
happy hour. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'll be over here for maybe a short period of time. And then after that,
because you got to go get ready for your main event.
Celebrations, and then we're going to head over there for the cigar event. Hopefully, the rest of my cold is gone by then, so I can imbibe in a cigar that I might or might not have brought back from the Dominican.
Did you clear that with customs?
Or
Bill?
10 or so.
Did you? What's the word? Did you report?
I reported them.
Did you report? Okay.
No, if I reported them to the proper people.
All right. Well, as long as you reported.
I reported to somebody.
I don't want to have
There you
to turn you in.
There you go. That's it. Thanks to everybody for coming out today and saying hello. And thanks to Mike for giving us an umbrella. So if we got to walk around today, we've got the ability to do so and not get soaked doing it. Hopefully we have baseball tonight over at the Lumberyard. And until we talk again 20 hours from now, time for us to get out of here. Have a good one.